Yeah, recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we ended the last episode that way. Now we started this one. So episode 15, Heckin' Cool Dads.
15.
With Sir Snooze-a-lot Colin. And damn, I had a name for myself, but I already forgot it. That's the way it goes. And we have a guest today. Our guest is Brian Miller. Say hey, Brian.
Hey, what's up?
And I said on the last episode that Brian would be our most American guest that we had. And nearly the first thing he says to me today when he comes in is, I didn't vote for Trump. So I guess being American or American AF is voting for Trump. But I will clarify.
I disagree with that. But
I know. But I think that's the assumption, right? But I will clarify. The reason I said that is because he fucking loves guns and knives, and he's got that clean kind of cut look. He does got some tattoos he usually covering up, but damn, look at him, tattoos flying, and he drives a big fucking truck, and he works in the farming industry.
That's a big ass truck, man.
Yeah.
150 or 250?
It's just a 150. It's a Chevy 1500.
Oh, it's a Chevy 1500.
Yeah.
My bad. Ooh, that hurt.
What did you
Still,
call it, like a
I
Ford?
assumed it was a Ford.
No.
Why'd you assume that? Is that more American?
It's American made. They didn't take the bailout. That's why.
Uh-oh. We might have background music already.
That's more.
Here it comes
Here it
again.
comes.
Here it comes. So I walk into the place and I walk past the practice space down there, and they're just blasting the fast part of Metallica's One.
There it goes. Wow, you came in almost exactly when
But they were just playing the record, and it was blasting. Like I could hear it like 3 practice spaces down.
Yeah.
But now he's just playing it over and over.
Yeah, it's called One because there's only one drum beat in it. That's a fun fact.
This makes it a even more American podcast. It's fucking Metallica playing in the background the whole time.
And we're drinking bourbon.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you. When we were talking about you coming on here, you mentioned something about bourbon, and I don't usually do the bourbon thing, but you're like, just let me bring some bourbon and we'll try it. So what did you make here today? And you also provided these fantastic copper mugs, which I could probably. No, they're copper. But
I made a Kentucky Mule with Angel's Envy rye bourbon.
Hell yeah.
So how does that differ from the bourbon I don't like?
What bourbon don't you like?
I have no fucking idea. Just each time, it's like Chinese food. People always tell me I'm gonna like it. They give it to me, and then I don't like it. But I'm about to fuck this shit up.
Yeah, it's rye is just a different mash bill. They just do it differently than a normal bourbon. I don't know exactly the process. I know with Angel's Envy, they do age that in rum casks, so it has a little bit of a sweet rum taste to it.
Okay.
What kind of ginger beer's in here?
That whatever Doubletree or something tree ginger beer. Yeah, I don't.
I will say that I do not hate this so far.
Well, that's good.
It's actually it's quite good.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Good. I want to, after I'm done drinking this, I want to have just a taste of the bourbon itself.
All good. Yeah, I'll do that too.
Yeah. So what I was saying was like everybody who's ever tried to get me to try Chinese food, they all say the same thing. They're like, oh, no, you just haven't had the right one. And it took like fucking 10 years of trying Chinese food and hating it over and over.
What did it end up landing on?
I don't even want to say it because it's like embarrassing.
Like beef lo mein?
No, Pei Wei. It was that company. I don't even think they're there anymore.
Really?
No. That's where Sweet Carrot was. Now Sweet Carrot's gone too.
Oh.
So I'm pretty sure
At
all
Easton?
No, I did Polaris.
What was the dish?
Polaris.
Because I only eat like Chinese buffets. Just like a space filler when I'm working.
I don't know. What's like General Tso's? That.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I know that's like the intro.
Spicy chicken.
Yeah, exactly. Spicy chicken with some rice.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. And now I like all Chinese food.
That's been my current, I was making Indian food like crazy there for a minute. I've been over the last couple of years like teaching myself like the basics of cooking different cuisines just so I can do it, I can just have stuff in the house and be like, I'm gonna make a chicken curry, and so I was like trying to master some kind of classic Indian dishes for a while, and then I could tell it was starting to wear down on Sierra, and she was like
she's her butthole?
She's like
it was wearing down on her taint.
She's like I'm not telling you to change anytime soon, which is what she was. And she goes, but next dish or the next type of food, can you focus on Chinese food?
Very nice.
And I was like, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. And yes, I'll start making Chinese food this week.
My guts cannot handle any more Indian.
Yeah. I don't even. Okay, so where I work, there's a huge Indian culture there. And from time to time, they'll bring in, homemade dishes. They're like, and they always have 2 different ones. They have like, white people spice, and then they have like regular spice.
Yeah.
I've made the mistake on several occasions going, the white people spice, it's not that hot at all. Let me try the other one. And it's a big fucking jump. It's like not going from a 2 to a 4. It's like going from a 2 to like a 12. It's off the fucking Richter.
So speaking of white people spice,
Yeah.
my buddy Ben Brown and James, we all got together and did like a hot wing challenge, and they got that shit from Hot Ones. The Last Dab. You ever had any of that stuff?
I have. I've had all of those.
Have you?
The bomb is the fucking worst one.
We didn't do that one.
It's the worst. It's because it's not.
It's an extract.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we did it, and the toughest one of us all was Veronica, was James's wife. Veronica.
No shit.
She did not flinch. She was like a cyborg. She just sat there and just ate the wings. Did no reaction.
We've talked about Ben on here several times.
Yeah.
Because he's so interesting. He's the one like makes like the
He
robots
does.
and shit.
Have you seen his lawnmower?
Yes. I have.
Yeah. He's like the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh yeah, but his inventions work.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Ben's actually work. That's the best part.
I immediately, I knew what you were talking about, but as soon as you said that, I imagine Rick Moranis like floating around the backyard, hanging on that laundry thing.
Yep.
You're kind of giving me Rick vibes. Like when I look at you, now I'm starting to think like that could be you. You kind of look like that guy, Colin.
For the longest time, I thought Rick Moranis was dead. There's like a whole internet like urban legend that he's dead.
He quit. He
just disappeared.
He disappeared because his wife got sick, I think is what happened. Wife got cancer, died, and he took care of his kids, and that was it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What'd you get sick from?
Cancer, I believe.
Oh,
Shit, I don't know.
did you
Don't
say
quote me.
cancer?
He did.
Okay, my bad. I was going in for another drink, and I got to mentally prepare, so I blocked out whatever you were saying for like
You gotta
1 second.
Block out the Metallica too.
No, that's just chilling in the background. So, what have you guys been into this week? Colin, start with you.
Man, this week just it's like I blinked and it was over. I mean, this week went by so fast. We yesterday went to Magic Mountain. Rowan's turning 11 on Tuesday, and I'm going to be gone on business, which sucks. But we went to celebrate his birthday and brought a couple of his friends, and I thought we'd be there for like a couple hours, but we were there for like 5 fucking hours.
Which one did you go to?
One at Polaris.
Oh, okay.
You may have said this. How old are your kids?
7, 9, and almost 11.
Okay, so yeah, mine are 6, 4, and 3.
Freshly 10 and almost 2.
Yeah.
That's a big old jump.
He's actually opening up his gift after I get home from this because I'm not going to be here on his birthday.
Oh, nice.
Got him a laptop.
Really?
Yeah.
Chromebook or laptop?
A laptop. It's an Acer.
No shit.
I was looking up, like, I did some research. I'm not a PC guy. We have a Mac house, and it's never been a thing that I'm that intimately aware of.
Yeah.
And I did some research for a week or so of best gaming laptops, gaming laptops
okay.
under 500 because the technology is so cheap now.
It is.
And I figure, we'll see how this goes. We'll see, if it's something, because he told me he wants to get into PC gaming and he wants to get into writing code and stuff like that. And like, if this latches on, then maybe in a couple of years we'll turn it into a project and we'll build
YouTube streaming, Twitch streaming.
Well, that's what my kid wants to do.
Yeah. Monetize off your kid.
Yeah.
I always tell my wife I want to monetize off my kid because he's only 7 or 6 and he's super into just Roblox and
Oh yeah.
Minecraft and that shit. I was like, let's record it and monetize. She's like, fuck no.
I think it really does take a lot to make anything. You don't make shit from any streaming or anything, but you make like money from sponsorships.
Yeah.
Like that's the big thing is
Yeah.
ad sponsored and placed ads and all that bullshit.
Have you watched any of all the bullshit that kids watch on YouTube
Oh, absolutely.
nowadays?
It's awful.
That's all our kids do. We
Yeah.
talk about that all the time.
his mic needs to go up a little bit. Volume.
I'll do it in post.
Oh,
So
okay.
move it closer to my
Yeah.
face.
No, yeah, that stuff is inane.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I talk to like coworkers with kids. Everybody's kids
Yeah.
watch that shit. I actually was fed up with it the other day. The kids were watching it before I was getting ready for work, and I was late and I was grumpy and and it was just these fucking guys' shrill voices,
Yeah.
Screaming, like,
"Whoa, buddy! Did you see what that guy did?" And I was it was just too much for me.
Yeah.
And I turned it
think
down.
It's too much for kids.
And I was like,
No, it's not. They fucking love it.
Yeah, but I
They
think
want
it
more.
wires them to see when my boy will watch that stuff. If we take it away, it's almost like we took away a drug from him.
It's crazy.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
He goes through withdrawal symptoms.
Well, that was
Yeah.
the thing. Like when I was mad about it, I was like, okay, first turn it down. Second, I'm going to talk to your mom about this, but we're going to come up with some new rules where we're not just watching gamer YouTube all the time.
I put passwords on my shit, and he'll like peek out of his eyes, and he'll watch me put the password in, and he'll memorize it. It's ridiculous.
I'm like, we pay for Netflix, we pay for Hulu, we pay for all these things. You're going to watch some fucking shows, you're going to watch some fucking movies, not just people screaming at Roblox.
Yeah, so it's getting worse. And if your kids haven't went to this yet, just wait. All those YouTubers make music.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
You talking about like the one family with the weird dad that plays games with his kids? I cannot remember the name of the people.
I don't know.
But they do music videos also.
Well,
with him and his kids. Do you know what I'm talking about?
He's got that little brimmed beanie on.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
That guy's got such a punchable face.
I hate that family.
That guy has a punchable face. The funny thing is because my kids were always Funnel Vision or something like that. And fuck you guys if you hear this.
I'll block that shit.
Meet me in the DMs.
Look, he did it again.
I did it again. You got to bump the mic next. And then we'll be on par with Colin wanting to fight, bump the mic.
Yeah.
You should just sample that, so if I don't bump the mic, you can fix it in post.
I may be the only person that's watched every single episode.
No, man.
Listened to more than watched, actually.
But you're watching my kids watch those videos over time, and it's, for one, it's just like, fuck these guys. Their life's gonna suck when they're old because their kids are getting whatever they want for free.
Oh yeah.
And then as you watch their play counts go up, all of a sudden the next episode they're in like a McMansion that's empty.
Oh yeah.
They just keep like moving up, and it's like good for these folks, but Jesus Christ, man, these kids are gonna be so shitty.
Well, then no, it's your kids or my kids to say, hey, why can't we have a ball pit as our entire basement? It's like, that's not realistic. And I don't know how to fucking tell you this being 6 years old, but that shit is for entertainment value only. It is not real life.
I've said this before, but it
is real life.
We reeled in the whole media thing quite a bit by giving him play money. That's how we started. We gave him $80 play money. Every $5 equaled 15 minutes. So that's like saying, here's 4 hours of media per week. Spend this money how you want. Here's the thing. If you save that, we'll assign media money values to real life things, and you can save it up and you can get real life shit if you don't just sit here on media. Yeah. And it worked great. Right now it's kind of hard because it's the summer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like they're fucking going just
like 4 hours per week. I'm like 12 hours a day. Jesus, not really. But
and I don't really know how to approach it any other way. We just don't let him do it. But when he goes to say his cousin's house or they just let him play Fortnite, and I will not let my fucking kid play Fortnite at 6 years old.
So
I just won't do it. I can't do it.
My kid's got a new best friend in the community, recent addition to the community, and I'll ask him questions about him. He's only known him like maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah,
hangs out with him every single day. I'll ask him questions about him. He don't know shit about him. I'm like, what you're telling me is you just go to his house and play Fortnite, and that's why he's your favorite and best friend right now, because he enables this thing you love. And when we tell you, we tell you no more media right now. Don't do this. You have to go out and play. Okay, can I go to Connors? Yeah, sure. 20 minutes later, he comes back. Can I take my iPad? I'm like, God damn it. I don't want to be the person that says no, but we kick him out and tell him no video games, no anything. Go outside and play.
Well, both of my boys are going to my sister's tonight, and they got up at like 7 a.m. this morning and packed their bags. And one of the only reasons they want to go is to play fucking video games.
Yep.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm pretty, Jeff and I have talked about this before, but like I'm pretty lenient as far as video game time goes, because for one, I feel like I've lost all control of everything as it is. But two, it's just, one of those things where it's like, especially my other two, the younger two are better self-regulated. Like it gets old to them. Like,
my 4-year-old,
they'll play like my middle son will play Fortnite for a couple hours, and then he'll be like, I'm done, I want to go outside and play. And I love that, that kind of self-regulation. Rowan, my oldest, though, he's a nerd. He's like I was, and if he would sit in a dark closet playing video games all day, every waking minute, if I let him. So part of me understands that, from an interest standpoint.
You also mentioned if people would have regulated you, it may have not led to your career and profession and stuff now. Like if your dad would have said, get the fuck off the internet.
Yeah.
So there's probably a little piece of you that kind of
for sure
is passing that on.
I was always on the internet. Did you play internet games back in the day, like the late 90s? Any of you guys?
No.
Not a lot of gaming, but I was
up in Columbus.
I was definitely very online.
I played this game called Ultima Online back when I was in 8th grade, and just played it constantly. And my mom didn't even say much to me, just let me play it.
Just let you go, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
like,
mostly making Dragon Ball Z GeoCities pages, and
shit. I had a GeoCities.
and then trying to sneak in as much pornography as I could.
Hell yeah.
I was setting up this laptop last night, like
when you had to
the whole
download
idea is
porn.
that like I want him to be able to open it and be like, guess what? I already like put Steam on there. I already put Fortnite
yeah.
on there. Like so, it's like ready to go. We were putting parental controls and shit on it last night, and but I was like sitting there. I was like, oh man, this isn't just like an iPad. You know,
I
like
sound like a complete retard here, but Steam is just the interface for downloading PC games.
certain PC games.
Okay.
It's a big, like among the indie game world, it's like a big thing.
Yeah.
It's like a store where you can put stuff up, but certain, like Roblox is in Steam or something like that. I don't know. I don't pretend to really know.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is real. Like, I'm like giving my son a computer. I'm opening a scary world right now. I'm kind of freaked out about
everything
it.
at their fingertips,
So
Yeah, especially Pornhub.
we're gonna have some hard. Well, was the first site I typed in as far as block sites.
Oh yeah.
How old is he again?
About to turn 11.
11. Oh yeah. A
Gonna be
couple
in
more
fifth
years.
grade.
Yeah, a couple more years.
Those
Crusty
keys will be
Sock
sticking.
City.
Yeah, the keys will be stuck together. Like,
Yep.
what the
Hey,
fuck?
where are all your socks? Oh, they're behind your dresser.
Yeah.
Comes out in one mass.
One sock clump.
But my number one rule is going to be, I know the password to get into this thing, and I'm allowed to go in and I'm allowed to rifle through your shit whenever I want.
Oh yeah.
Number one rule.
Yeah.
Whenever I want.
Any browser you open, Control H pretty much opens the history. But here's the thing: kids are crafty. They're gonna learn how to do that. That's why you got to do it. See, I was letting you go. You got to do it at a router level.
Yeah, I know.
Do it at a router level. They can't get rid of that. Even if you control it, you can see all the data and traffic that comes through your router. That's the way to fucking do it.
Yeah, I bought one of those Orbi home systems so I can regulate
I
if
have
the
the
switches
Google.
are online. Yeah.
Yep. So, I don't know if we got to what have you been? We just went
How do you
right
guys
to
even
it.
know each other?
Good
Oh, yeah,
fucking
there you go.
question.
Yeah.
James, right?
Through James Tricazzi, yeah, probably. You
Yeah.
guys played together in a couple bands. I always used to tag along. I never played an instrument, but I always enjoyed being around friends and doing that kind of thing. So, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Do you remember going to a show or playing a show one time and I was so fucking drunk hanging out of the window? It was at the Continent. And you said, motherfucker, if these guys come over here and want to beat, because I was talking shit out the window, puking, talking shit to some black dudes probably. I don't know what the fuck was happening, but.
No, if it was it wasn't the Continent. You sure it wasn't Billiards Club?
Yeah.
Was it across from the Continent?
Yeah, it was across from the
Oh
Continent.
yeah, dude, there was so many Mexican gangs over there.
Yeah, and I was talking so much shit out the window, and you're like, if those motherfuckers come over here, I am kicking you out of this van, and I do not have your back.
Yeah,
it was like the first night we met.
You don't have to be the fastest, you just have to not be the slowest. That's how.
Yeah.
No, we have some video one time where a big fight broke out there, and we got it on fucking footage and shit. It was at the end of the Capital Tragedy DVD for a long time. These dudes showed up in a yellow Hummer. And
Is that who you were probably playing with at the time? Was Capital Tragedy?
I don't
If
know.
it was James, no.
No, it would have been probably like Art of Falling. I'm guessing it was around that time frame.
Before or after?
Before.
Does he know my wife?
Me?
Sierra?
Do
you know Sierra Gardner?
The name does not
No,
sound familiar.
I don't think so.
Why would I know her?
Just she was around. Yeah, she was all around the hour.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've known her way longer than I've known Colin. No, so these guys, big fight breaks out, right? And one of my friends picks up. First of all, they tried to run us over in a yellow Hummer. After the fight commenced, they went to the Hummer and gunned it through there. And one of my friends picked up a shopping cart and threw it at their Hummer. They came back with 4 carloads of dudes, and the cops came and stopped the cars before the cars rolled up and took them all out. And it was all Mexican gang members. There were guns. There were everything. Pretty much, we were all gonna die.
It probably happened after that. That's why you were like, I don't have your back.
It probably did, yeah. No, and other people have told me where are you playing? And I'm like, oh, they're like, I know so and so over there, and I'm like, well, now I see why I stay the fuck away from over there. So, I'm not gangster like that.
See,
guys.
this is why I spent most of my nerd time sitting in my room by myself, playing on drum machines and stuff like that.
Drum machines. No, so one thing that I have a confession. I have these confessions, and I always get Colin. This one's not bad. I know my last big confession was that I went tanning. This newest one is just me. I don't know if I should feel bad about this or not, so I'm gonna ask the panel here.
Can't wait.
Yeah, so I go to Kroger, and I'm always like a big advocate for trying new shit. I love trying new coffee. So if I see a new coffee, like I feel obligated to buy it. All flavors, all of them. And there's new coffee, and I get it. Fucking things like, it's a little tiny thing. It's Pete's Coffee. It's $3.40. It's kind of expensive, right? I take it up there. It doesn't ring up. And she's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Writes down the code, and it says, take it for free. Awesome. Like, thank you, Kroger. I go back, and I do it again, like a day later. They still haven't fixed it. That's been going on for a month. So every time I go to Kroger, it's just implied that I go there and pick up that coffee, try to ring it up, and every time they go, do you remember how much this was? And I'm like, no. Like, I know it's $3.39.
Are you going through the automated line where you got to do it yourself?
Yeah. But then they come over and don't know what to do, and every time somebody writes down shit and they go like, where'd you get that? And I'm very descriptive. I go second from the last cooler. It's on the right, third shelf down. Like, I know exactly where it's at. I've been taking them for a fucking month and a half or something, and they're just not fixing it. Like, should I feel bad about that? Or
No.
Okay.
It's a buck corporation.
You're bucking the system.
Yeah. So if you guys are listening, slide through that Lewis Center fucking Kroger and get you a Pete's Coffee.
That's way out of the way for me.
Yeah, you're the furthest, right? You're like an hour from here or something?
No, I was only 39 minutes from here.
Damn, that was so precise.
In which direction?
That's GPS.
West?
Yeah, west. I live west. I live
Plain
out
City?
No, Choctaw Lake. It's in London, Ohio, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Little subdivision out.
My mother-in-law lives in Galloway, like the
Yeah,
far end of
that's where I grew
Galloway, in between. Like they live on Darby Dan Farms.
Okay. So. Yeah. I grew up in Darby Estates, which is off of Hubbard Road right there.
Yeah.
So
Look at that. Some relation. You guys got some relation.
like
I
relation.
also got married there.
Did you?
Yeah.
At Darby Dan?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I got married at the Pinnacle Golf Course. Did you come to my wedding? I think you did.
Pinnacle Golf Course. That's on Treeview Road.
No, that's on Buckeye Parkway over in Grove City.
Oh yes.
I legit don't remember.
Hey, can you pass me that bourbon?
I was going to talk.
Where is it?
Oh, I thought it was right there.
Figured
No.
you guys might chime in when I said I would not let my kids play Fortnite, but I have a million guns in my home.
No,
Not
like
really.
you said.
yeah.
Here's the thing. You mentioned where you live, right? And so I've been out there several times. It's really fucking fun out there. It's cool. Come out. You had like just that little bit of that nook of land where it was like enough
it
to
backed
have.
up to the woods. Yeah.
You can have a fire that's like way bigger than most people because of that.
Yeah.
So we had some cool fires out there, but I know sometimes you've shot some guns out back there, right?
Yes, I have. When James first got some of his class 3 stuff, so James actually has more right-wing weapons than I do.
Right wing.
He has suppressor and he has a short-barreled rifle, which is both Form 3 stuff where you have to send into the ATF and they have to approve you and all that good shit. So whenever he first got all that stuff, we took his 308 bolt action in my backyard and we just blew off a couple rounds into the woods and you can't hear it, so it was great.
Oh, because you have the suppressor on?
Yep.
Have you ever shot? This is. I remember last time I was at your house. I saw your fucking judge.
Laying on my nightstand.
Yeah. And do you know what that is?
No, I do not.
It's a fucking handgun. It looks like some dirty hairy shit, but it shoots like a 410 shell. Like it shoots like a shotgun
It's
shell.
a 410 or a 45 long Colt.
Yeah, from a fucking handgun.
Yeah.
It's a novelty thing. Like you wouldn't
Look
want to
like
shoot that
Hellboy's
more than
gun?
once.
It's something like that. But yeah, it's
You ever shot
it's a
that out there?
revolver.
Out back?
I actually sold that gun. I didn't care for it too much. It shot 410 really well, but it didn't shoot 45 long Colt.
Those are kind of like novelties though, right? Like you don't want to shoot those more than once.
No, it's not a novelty. That's more of a home defense gun. That's why it was there. So if you put a 410 round in it with some bird shot, you're not gonna. So I'm real a stickler on rules. Like if someone breaks in your house and you fucking kill them, you're gonna go to jail no matter what, right? So that's the way that it works. So if I shoot them and they don't die but they run away, I'm a little better with that on my conscience, you know.
Why is that? I thought castle law and all that.
Yeah, but you go to jail just for questioning. So
that's fine.
And then the people that you shoot, they can civilly sue you, and it's just a fucking mess, is what it is.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I have heard of that before though.
You'll
like
lose everything. So when I did my concealed handgun license, the guy, one of the first things he said, if you shoot and kill somebody, you will go to jail and they will sue you for everything you own. That was like the first thing that he told you.
Wow.
So I was like, it resonated with me hard. I was like, fuck.
You're like, gotta get rid of the grenades.
And basically what he was saying is make sure that it's justified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I've always been worried about shooting somebody and not killing them. Like that's, if I shoot somebody, like I don't want to shoot them and then they can just get out and come back and like literally they know where I'm at because I shot them inside my house and shit like that. That worries me more. I might as well, I'm just going to jail, I guess.
Do you think someone's going to come back though if you shoot them?
Yeah. You know how mad they're going to be? Like,
yeah, but are they going to come back? Like you're going to be ready and then maybe they don't have a gun. I don't know. I don't know.
So I have a story about somebody that I know shooting somebody. This person was breaking into a garage and they got shot by the person I know and they didn't die.
Ooh, that's good.
And then they ran into him like at a concert later when Polaris Amphitheater was still around. Yeah, they ran into him and it was like they
ran into the guy that they shot?
Yeah.
They were like, hey, man.
Yeah.
How you doing?
How's it going?
I mean, you know, growing up in the South End, I've known a lot of people that's either shot or done the shooting.
Yeah.
And so you're bound to get a couple of those, you know, people that don't die that you just run into again.
But yeah, no, I'm a responsible gun owner. Just in case anybody's wondering. Yeah, I enjoy going to the range and...
I do too. It's funny. It's the one thing that puts me at odds with 95% of my fellow libs is the fact that I'm like, I don't own guns. I'm too much of a coward to own guns.
That was my next question to you.
But I'm from Michigan. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you believe, who you voted for. Up there, everybody shoots guns.
Yeah.
Everybody has a good time. Everybody goes. And one of my best friends from high school, his bachelor party was, he comes from a military family. His brother was special forces, and his dad fought in a couple wars. And his bachelor party was going out to some friend's property and bringing out all of the clandestine guns that they had.
That's what bugs me is the media paints such a terrible picture of gun owners.
Yeah.
And 95% of them are not bad people. They're just people that
I would go as far as saying like 99%.
Yeah.
That's true. I like that old saying that I think is more true than anything is the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's fucking,
true.
it's cliche as fuck, but it's true as shit. Like, nobody's gonna, like, you're not gonna, you know, Billy Blank's like fucking judo ninja kick somebody. You're gonna fucking shoot them with a gun. That's
I have never in my life, and I know a lot of gun owners. I've never met an irresponsible gun owner.
Yeah.
That says something.
Yeah.
I think.
I see lots of stories online.
Sure.
While I was digging for some Ohio or Florida for that segment, I saw one, and it wasn't from either, so I didn't use it. But it was about these two guys that got arrested because they were putting on a bulletproof vest and shooting each other with a .22, and they were just taking turns. And then the one got mad. Like, I can't remember why he got mad. He was like, I unloaded a whole clip in that boy, and like, yeah, just like fucking, they were just taking turns putting on a vest and shooting each other.
It sounds like West Virginia. Was it West Virginia?
I don't remember where the fuck it was. It wasn't Ohio or Florida, so I fucking just moved on.
Just taking turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some other shit that's been in the news lately that I picked up on, and I don't know if either of you guys caught this, but was the ASAP Rocky thing.
Free ASAP.
Did you?
No.
Get his?
No.
Basically,
Do you listen to rap music?
Kind of. There's a story about that too. I guess we could get into.
Oh yeah, we will go to that. We'll go to that right after this. So
Okay.
with ASAP, basically he gets in a fight. It was in Sweden, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gets in a fight in the street. It's on film and shit. And then now he's in a prison, and like
He's been detained for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, and the conditions are less than stellar over there, and it's like this whole thing now. So I didn't know if if you had heard about that.
Definitely.
I did not.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. Shit never goes. But yeah, so the rap story that I think you were leaning towards is
Yeah, my dad is on a talking basis with Killer Mike from Brenda Jules.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Go
So-
on.
Yeah,
Now
so-
I remember you bringing that up.
Yeah.
Go on.
So a year ago, my dad's big into cars, right? So he goes down to Florida for the Mecum auctions, and he goes out to Indianapolis for the Mecum auctions. And
What's that?
Mecum car auction. It's a place where a bunch of old rich white dudes get together and they buy cars.
Turn on ESPN2.
Oh, and they like push them out onto a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
ESPN2 every day at like noon.
Yeah.
Shit.
So He's on the way back. He's flying first class, naturally, I guess. And his wife didn't get a seat next to him, so he's sitting next to this guy. And they strike up conversation. Ends up the guy's name's Killer Mike.
Fuck.
Yeah, so they talked the whole way, I guess, back from Atlanta or wherever his layover was at. And that's where Killer Mike is from. And he was coming into Columbus for his show. So the guy offers tickets to my dad, and my dad was like, yeah, okay. And my dad doesn't listen to that.
Yeah.
So he mentioned it to me, and at the time, I didn't know who he was. I was like, all right. And then I talked to Ben about it, and he said, oh my God, if you can get tickets again, I'll fucking go with you.
Hell yeah.
So
it's definitely not a hood rap show at all. Like, you don't really have to worry about shit.
yeah, I didn't know. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been to a hip hop show, but there's more to that story. So it's probably been about 3 months ago, but my dad texted him, and I guess whenever my dad texts,
That's just fucking crazy. Go on.
whenever my dad texts him, he immediately calls him for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just because he's always sitting in an airport or something like that.
Yeah.
But I guess he immediately called him. He's like, "Hey, I'm out here in LA. What do you got going on? Are you in the area? Blah blah blah." I don't know how the conversation went, but
Yeah.
turns out he was out there to do the Joe Rogan podcast.
What?
So he gets on the Joe Rogan podcast, and it must have been just because it was fresh in his mind, but he does a whole bunch of shout out to people on the Joe Rogan podcast. And he got to talking about the Mecum auctions, and he was like something along the lines of, it's so strange how young black men really get along with old rich white dudes because they all like black women and they don't like the work or something like that. And he's like, shout out to my buddy Mike that I met coming back
my
from a
God.
Joe Rogan met coming back from a Mecum auction. And so my dad got shouted out on the biggest podcast that exists.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I'll have to find that. Do you know which what episode it was?
I don't know what episode, but it is the Killer Mike episode. I have it somewhere. I can probably send you the clip because I recorded it.
Yeah.
So I'll send you the clip. It's pretty cool.
I'm gonna be in Atlanta tomorrow night.
What?
Yeah, he's invited my dad out to his barbershops in Atlanta. Like, I don't know where they're at in Atlanta, but he's invited my dad all kinds of places. It's really weird.
One of them is, I think it's like in the Atlanta airport or something like that.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad rubs shoulders with like Eddie George. Eddie George has been to my dad's car garage. It's fucking weird as hell. My dad has like this whole secondary lifestyle that I.
So we went down, something we did this week, we went down to Harvest in Clintonville, and hadn't been there in a while, so we were driving, I'm looking for it, we're like,
You guys took some cute pictures too.
right? So we're looking, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's up here on the right, but then we see something right here on the left, and it's called Harvest.
I think they're moving.
No, I think that's a fucking dispensary or something. That's somehow related to...
Across the street from a place called Harvest?
Yes! That's what's fucking...
Are they stupid?
That's what's fucking weird. No, maybe they can do a thing where you like go over there and get a joint and a slice.
It's only
Joint and a slice.
That's genius marketing is what that is. It's only medicinal here now, but it's I would say based on what I hear from my old man that it's going to be really pushed through because of some big players that are invested in stuff like that, like us. Mosquito.
Yeah,
Yes,
dude, we
fucking
always
gnats.
have like little like fucking fruit flies and shit in here. It's crazy.
Probably that trash can.
It probably is that trash can. We take that out, but it's mainly just filled with fucking beer cans.
Or that bag of
Filled
dirty
with-
diapers.
Filled with cum socks.
Come on now, that's not dirty diapers.
Looks like it.
Those are trash bags for that fucking trash can.
Speaking of dirty diapers, my kids are finally not wearing fucking diapers.
Dude,
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
All of them.
All of them. Every single one of them. The girl was the hardest. So with my kids, like our first kid, I was like, man, this is fucking great. He is so easy. Then my next kid, and he was like level 2. And then the third kid is like level 3. I'm fucking scared if I ever had another one. They got harder.
Do you plan to have another one?
Well, we're not trying, but we're not preventing.
That's wild. That's wild for me. Why don't you go get the snippage?
I am going to. I think some days we just like are fucking done and want the kids to go to bed, and some days we're like, this is amazing. I want to have another
My
one.
coworker brought his like 2-week-old baby to work yesterday.
Yeah.
Or
Give
on
you a
Friday.
panic attack, a mild panic attack.
And I was looking at her, and I was just like, the same thing has happened to me a lot lately is, man, if I didn't take care of this shit a couple years ago, we would have 3 more kids by now.
Jesus.
I get the baby bug so easy.
Do you?
Like, my ovaries hurt.
But there.
So Ben just had a kid, Ben Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been trying for a really long time. They got a kid, and the cutest kid went over there, and he was screaming, and I looked at my wife, and she's like, I know. She's like, I know you don't want to have another one. Something about like that 3 to 4 month age, I fucking hate it. I sound like a terrible person.
No,
but they just scream.
This is a safe place for calling your kids assholes.
Yeah, I probably sound like a horrible person too, but I can't even fucking imagine going past 2. Like, you guys have both, you've gone past that point for me, because I feel like once
if she's good now at 2, she's going to be terrible at 3. I'm just saying.
That's how it works?
That's how it's worked with all my kids.
They say terrible 2s, and then they say trying 3s, and then they say the furious 4s. I mean,
yeah, it's just them.
It doesn't get any better.
They just try to figure themselves out.
It doesn't get any better.
Really. I mean, I think it's ever changing. It's never going to be the same thing.
Yeah,
ever.
they got a name for fucking every number now. They got the touching your wanker 13s, like. No, but no.
Well, yesterday my 4-year-old was playing with my wife, and he was like, "You touched my dick, Mom."
He said dick?
Yeah. I was like, "Where the fuck did you hear that, you little dickhead?"
See? Where the fuck did you hear that, you little dickhead? I have no idea. No, Hayden, I've tried to get him to cuss so many times. And I just want him to, like, just to get it out of his system. Like, let me hear you just knock one out. And he won't. He won't even say breast. He won't say chicken breast. He won't say breast. He's like, how about some chicken? I'm like, chicken what? Thighs or chicken? He's like, no. He won't do it.
I want the white meat.
Yeah.
My son, my oldest son, the first time he cussed, he was 4. And he was playing Angry Birds on an iPad. I was on my way home from work, and he was home with my wife, and she calls me and she goes, "Guess what your son just said?" It's my son now.
Oh yeah,
it's not hers.
Yeah.
That's me. That's my move.
She's like,
they do something bad, it's automatically dad's kid.
She's like, "Guess what your son just said?" And I was like, "I don't know." And she's like, "I heard him playing Angry Birds," and he's like, "Fuck, fucking pigs."
Oh shit.
I have a pretty good story.
And she's like, "So I asked him where he learned it. Guess where he learned it?" And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "Please don't say me. Please don't say me. Please don't say me." And she asked him. He goes, "YouTube." 4 years old.
Man.
Found some F words on YouTube.
The boy I was just talking about that was talking about his dick. He was probably 3, and he was pretty terrible at 3. So he threw a sippy cup through my 65-inch TV on the wall. Just fucking
wow.
Send it right.
That's a hell of an arm, because those things.
Oh yeah, shattered.
I've thrown lots of things that have hit the TV.
It must have hit it like perfectly on the little nipple thing that's on him, the hard nipple. And it shattered the whole screen. What's funny about that is my wife didn't. We were getting ready to go somewhere, and she didn't tell me because she knew it would have fucking ruined my day.
Yeah.
So when we came home and turned off the TV, I turned on the TV. And I was like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "Yeah, I didn't tell you." Connor threw the sippy cup through the TV.
That.
I was like, "Oh, okay." So I had to replace the TV, and this is all coming back around to my kids cussing. So I'm replacing the TV, and it can be a bear, and the old TV's on the ground. I'm hanging the new one, and I hear my kid over there with the screwdriver going, "Motherfucking shit, fuck," like with the screwdriver. And it's probably just something that I said, and he overheard me, so he's working on something saying, "Fuck, shit."
This is what you're supposed to say when you're fixing something.
Yeah.
You know, and I am pretty loose tongued around my children, and my wife will get down on me about it, or we'll be listening to rap music or something like that, and she'll be like, "Hey, the language in this song," and I was like, but you know, sure, yeah, we should keep ourselves together around our kids, obviously, to be a good example, but we are super naive if we don't think that they're not just saying fucking shit and whatever they want when they're playing outside by themselves. When I was that age, when I was 9, 10, 11 years old, I remember the first time my brother and I were walking to the bus stop. I think I was probably 10, he was 6 maybe. We were like, "I won't tell if you don't tell." And we're like, we knew exactly what we were talking about, and we were just like, "Fuck, shit,
just
fuck."
You see what I'm saying?
Cock.
But that's kind of why I want him to. That's why I want him to say it. It's because he comes in and tells me sometimes. He's like, "Yeah, so and so said this." Like, he'll tell me other people said it. I can't get him to say shit. But he also uses words like junk. He won't say dick. He'll say junk. The other day we were leaving his cross country practice, and he saw one of his friends from school. Dude, they're fucking still playing Metallica. I cannot believe it.
My oldest boy likes the word nuts. That's what he
Oh yeah, he says nuts too.
Yeah.
So we're leaving his cross country practice. He sees one of his friends he knows, and I said, and he does this thing every time, like we're anywhere in public and somebody says hey to him, he says hey, and then he looks at me. I'm like, what? Like, why do you look at me every time? Like, you're going to be in trouble for saying hey to your homeboy. Anyway, so he looks at me, and I was like, "Who's that?" He tells me his name, and he goes, I said, "Is that your friend?" He was like, "Yeah, I like him, but I don't like some of the people he hangs out with." And I was like, "Why is that?" And he goes, "Well, they all kind of do this thing where, like, if you do anything annoying at all or they're annoyed, they'll kick you in the junk." And I was like, I don't don't like guys who kick other guys in the nuts. I'm like, that. Yeah, they got to put some respect on your junk. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, but I don't know. I just don't want him looking at my junk like a washed up celebrity. And I had no fucking idea what that meant. So
He said that to you?
Yeah, that's verbatim. He goes, yeah, I don't want him looking at my junk like a washed up celebrity. And
That's
like,
fucking great.
You know, and I'll take his word for it. That's probably like
That's a good
savage.
punchline.
so yeah, so then I'm driving home and I'm like, I mean, 10 minutes. I'm like, am I that out of touch with, like, what the fuck does that mean? And then finally I turn on the final like thing before home and I said, hey, I got a question. When you said like a washed up celebrity, I was like, is that some
Old man
YouTube shit? Or is that, what does that mean? He was like, oh, you know how like when people see washed up celebrities, they just kind of look at them like they're crazy? And I was like, yeah. What? And I was like, I was still lost. And I was like, you don't want them looking at your junk all crazy. Why would they be looking at your junk? He's like, well, if I tell them to put some respect on it. And I was like, all right, let's just agree to not explain anymore because I have no fucking idea what that means. But I've been thinking about it all week. Like they looking at it like a washed up celebrity.
He had to have heard that in a gamer ring.
That's what I said. I said some fucking YouTuber did this shit.
You know,
That's pretty deep for
this is where I start to
young
feel
kid.
really old. Is now that my kids are getting into like slang ages.
Yeah.
Like I
fuck, got another
still
one.
don't understand the proper usage of yeet.
Oh, it's anything.
That's the thing. That's what was so
Yeah.
confusing.
Doesn't it just mean when you're excited? or
Like
something
sometimes
that?
they say
Yeah,
fuck, I don't know.
yeet like they're excited.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll be like, I just yeeted B's stuffed animal across the yard.
Yeah, through it. Yeah.
And so I'll say it.
I can't believe they're using that.
And I've talked to him about it, like saying like I've said it. I don't understand the proper usage of the term. And so I'll just do it. I'll just say like I'll say yeet or I'll like throw it in thing and Miles will literally like that's not how you use the word.
Yeah.
Like
It's
makes
like
me feel old.
You can't
as
describe
fuck.
how to use the word, but they're telling you it's not right.
Yeah.
No, another one that he did again, and these kids hear this shit from YouTube, and
These
then
kids.
they did.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, that's right.
You sound old.
Dude,
These kids.
These
My
fucking
lawn
kids.
sucks right now. Anyway, they use it from like fucking YouTube and shit. So I took him to another cross country store. I took him to his cross country meet, so where he had actually race against kids. And he came in like, 74th out of like 150, right? So like dead center. He's only run a fucking handful of times in his whole life. So he goes, I said, were you able to keep running without stopping and shit? He was like, yeah, I was pretty good. I was getting a cramp in the middle. And then this kid was making fun of me. So I just 420 blazed it past him. And I stopped. It fucking caught me off guard. I said,
Son,
did what?
Son, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
That's not the proper terminology.
well,
for that.
we've talked to him
It's not the
about
proper nomenclature, dude.
yeah, we've talked to him about like drugs and shit because we went out to fucking Denver, like right before Eloise was born. We went out to
yeah?
Denver, and totally everything's legal. It's legal for recreational out there. So everywhere you went, it was like that was the culture, and people were smoking, and we had to keep explaining to him like,
Shit.
whoa,
Bless you.
need a cough button. And so he knows what it is. So I had to look at him and go, what do you think that means? He was like, just zip past him, go real fast.
You're like, yep.
I was like, no, I said, okay, well, let me explain to you what it means, 420. And I explained the whole 420 thing. And I was like, and blaze it is referring to smoking weed. And he's like, what? And I said, yeah, so try to not use that around people that are going to judge me that you know what that is. Like, keep that shit for your homies. Yeah, 420, blaze it.
That's hilarious.
Kids have a skewed perception of a lot of things. But
These kids.
I have a skewed perception of a lot of things too. And I'm going to give you an example.
Go.
So there was this big ass case at work, and it holds a computer monitor, a tablet, and a couple other things. And it's a Pelican case, like real nice, airplane approved and all that bullshit. And we send it, back and forth to New York and yada yada. So we're going to send it. Somebody goes, hey, pick that up. Tell me what you think the weight is. And I was like, oh shit, I don't know. And they're like, well, I need to know if it's under 50 or over 50. I'm like, that's at least 50. I think like 53 to 55. And I was trying to judge it by like a fucking, the big weights, like the plates.
Yeah.
When you lift weights. Colin,
No.
you've heard of those, right? So the big plate is a 45, unless it's like, some other bullshit. So pretty common. And I was really like thinking like, okay, when you lift that, yeah, this thing's gotta be at least 50. It feels a little heavier than that. So
It's like 25 pounds.
we Amazon primed one of those like it's like, I don't know if it's a luggage thing or what, but it's like a digital scale where you take a strap and you wrap it around and you hold it and it digitally tells you what the shit is. I think it's a luggage thing. We Amazon Prime like 1 hour at that bitch. It showed up, guy pulls up in a Hyundai, drops off our thing 20 minutes later. And I was like, okay, let's make this a game. Let's guess. So I put down, 52 pounds or whatever, and everybody's guessing. And the one guy, our like summer analyst, guessed like 25 pounds. And I'm like, dude, you're either really strong or crazy. And then we weigh this thing, dude, it's 19 pounds. It is. I accused the scale of being broke. I was like, that fucking scale is broke. Let's weigh some other shit.
Just bullshit.
Yeah, so we start walking around getting things that we could look up online the actual weight of and testing it. It was spot on. I'm like, there's no fucking way that this big ass case with this shit in there is 19. I still think it's broken.
I was looking like for a gallon of milk around the office. Like, I know how much this motherfucker weighs.
How much does a gallon of milk weigh?
16 pounds, isn't it?
Fuck if I know. Why do you know that? Because you're in the farming industry, right?
I don't think it's 16 pounds.
The human head weighs 8 pounds. I know that from Jerry Maguire.
The human head weighs 8 pounds.
Exactly.
Just because I'm in the farming industry doesn't mean I know how much milk weighs.
I just assume that you pick up some tidbits while you're doing farm stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of farm stuff do you do?
Basically, we build farms, so...
Is there a video game based on this? Like,
not quite.
what's that video game?
So there's in the
Like
farming...
a farm simulator.
So in the farm simulator, you're actually harvesting the corn.
There you go.
So there's different avenues of the business. So there's planting, and then there's getting it out of the field, which is with combines and all that shit. And then
Putting it in the field, getting it out of the field.
and then putting it into a storage facility, which is what we build. We build storage facilities. It's fucking terribly boring, but it's helping the farmer protect their commodity. So it's corn and soybeans and wheat and all that is basically traded like stock. So
Yeah.
putting handling equipment and grain bins on their facility helps them market their grain.
Most of the shit grown in Ohio's to feed animals, though, right?
Yeah, most of it. Some of it goes overseas, and then you'll get it back in some fucking cornflakes and shit like that. But
That's like the craziest thing to me, because when I think of corn and like how cheap it is for me to walk in the store and like buy corn, and then I think of people growing that, I'm like, and there has to be that markup and wholesale and yada yada. And when you're selling in that large quantities, I'm like, how fucking much money could you possibly get from a big ass field of corn?
a lot.
Really?
Yeah, it's $4 a bushel. A bushel is about a 5-gallon bucket. So
Wow.
yeah, when you're talking,
is that already shucked? Or is that
yeah, that's
just-
shucked. So when you talk to some farmers,
That's fucking crazy. That's way higher than I thought.
when you talk to some farmers, you'll be like, so how's the field yielding this year? And they'll tell you like between 188 and 205, and that's 205 bushels an acre. So do the math.
I can't, dude. I can't
4
even.
times 200.
Yeah.
That's 8.
$800 per acre.
Yeah. So then we have farmers that we work with that are farming 40,000 acres. So
Jeez.
There
yeah,
it is.
it's big money.
There it is.
That's fucking
Yeah.
crazy. They fucking with what is it, Monsanto or whatever the fuck is it?
Whoever sells them
Yeah.
the seed cheapest. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. I had no idea that there was that much.
Big money industry.
I used to work for my previous design job. Was a super liberal run company, and we got a contract doing some marketing design work for Monsanto.
Yeah.
And like there was like a company meeting about it where they were like, just so you know, we're playing this really carefully. We know, and it was just like, wow, you guys, just
Was it like trade show marketing? Because
I don't know. It's just like you just want to make some money. Just be honest about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to put on this virtue signaling bullshit.
Yeah, you hear a lot of mixed things about Monsanto. I've heard them going into small towns and pushing out small seed companies by force with guys in black Tahoes, and it's fucking crazy.
Well, they were also the ones behind Agent Orange in Vietnam. So.
Yeah.
Still got a
Now you
still
hear
got a
all the
little,
bad stuff
little bit
about-
of a bad rap from that.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say, I'm guessing that your dad's in the industry as well, right?
Yeah, we've
So
been
you've pretty much been around this like your whole life.
my entire life. So when I graduated high school, he let me party for a week, and he's like, "Get your ass to work." So I got my ass to work, and the rest is history. I've been there for
That was some of my oldest memories of
15
you.
fucking
Like I
years.
always just thought you were like the rich friend.
No, I've always worked for my money, man.
I know, but you've always worked and shit, and you're talking to somebody who didn't have a real job until they were 22.
Yeah, I've
Like,
worked
I made
forever.
side money.
Yeah, I'm not a rich kid at all.
No,
My dad-
not rich kid. You were the rich friend.
Oh.
Like, whether you got rich on your own or not was irrelevant. It was the fact that
Rich is relative. I mean,
It
I've
is.
always done well.
yeah.
I mean, so yeah, and it's just because I've worked. I've always been gone. You
Yeah.
know, that's why I never.
No, you do 1,000 different things,
Yeah.
and I know that we actually had beef one time over one of the things you
yeah,
did,
yeah.
which is really funny. Yeah, no, I
Go
haven't
on.
I haven't
Yeah.
had a lot of beef in my whole fucking life.
Let's
but,
hear about beef.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll give the short version, or yeah, I can't even talk. Short version, and then I'll have you chime in with
Okay.
fill in some holes for me. So I had a clothing company, and it was doing okay at conventions. I just needed to put more effort in. Brian was always very supportive of that. So there's some backstory, right?
Yeah, I bought some shirts from you.
Yeah. So fast forward, you were getting into. I'm not even sure what those are. They're like clips and stuff.
Yeah, so
right?
I was making custom pocket clips for really high end pocket knives.
And obviously, that's a huge. We have a lot of friends that are into like knife culture as well that make stuff. So very familiar with
Knife
that.
culture.
Do you?
I love how there's
Yeah.
a culture around everything.
Oh yeah. So familiar from that perspective, right? So mainly from the consumer side, and then obviously Chris DeWitt and shit's been making like amoeba designs. He's been making like a fuck ton of non-foldy ones, like just.
Oh, yeah?
the sheaths.
I didn't know that. No, I
I'll
didn't.
show you some stuff. From
Okay.
Foldleaf.
He did some of Sierra's earliest tattoos.
He did my very first tattoo.
I think maybe Sierra's first
Yeah,
tattoo.
he's
No.
because he was in Body Farm, like the Body Farm that was around then, not the Body Farm that's
Andy
around now.
Ringo did my first
The new
tattoo.
Body Farm's pretty good though.
Yeah, but it fucking threw me off because I'm used to the old one. Anyway, so
Shout out to my boys in Body Farm, the new one.
shout out to my
Boys and girl.
my boys that were in Body Farm.
Shout out to Dave Tevenel that did my leg, and then I never talked to him again.
Well, he lives back in Columbus now, so
Does he?
Yeah, for the most part.
Does he really?
Like at least 3 weeks. Anyway, so he starts making these like clips, right? And me being me, I start commenting on things, but I'm commenting in my, like I don't know dick about dick. I'm like,
No, you're commenting on my photos. Say, does that motherfucker spread butter good?
yeah, it's a knife thing. What do I use knives
Does it
for?
look like a butter knife?
Couldn't tell you. I don't know. I mean, does it spread butter? I mean,
So beef started with you talking shit?
yes.
Yes.
But just in like a dickhead.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was just in like a trolling style manner.
So I
but
was at like the infancy of starting something that was actually materializing into something that I was making good money at, and I always had people comment and bullshit. And then just one day I had an off day, and he said something. I was like, you know what, motherfucker, I'm gonna spout back at you. And
Yeah.
I said something along the lines.
I
of,
don't know what the fuck it was, but you sent it to me directly, and I was like, oh, word. And then I think I went to do something. I was like, all right, well, I can understand that because he never gave me a warning that like
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah, I should have been like, hey.
he never gave me a warning that was like, hey, and I've done this to everybody. I did this to Dave. I do it to Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle's been living with this for
He
fucking
was being a troll, and I got shitty.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so like what happened was I went to like delete it or something. I said, all right, I can understand. Because what he was saying had some validity to it, obviously. He's like, I'm trying to do something in this industry and yada yada. And I was like, he's got a point. I feel bad about that. I'm gonna go delete the comment. He had already blocked me. I said, holy shit, that's like my first block of my life. I felt like it was an achievement.
Gotta block
unlocked.
the trolls, man. Gotta
Yeah.
block the trolls, especially when you're
Nice.
making money on something. But yeah, no, we squashed that when we went to James's bachelor party.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that was the time that we had like talked and squashed it.
Yeah,
I should go see.
that was a fun night
Are we still blocked? Am I still blocked?
on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm not even. Do I have the same Instagram?
I have no idea.
I have no fucking idea. That's how long Instagram's been
But
around.
no shit, just doing that stuff on Instagram garnered me like 8,000 followers. That's how hot that stuff was at the moment.
Yeah.
Like the industry is up and down, and I was at the peak of up. People were paying $250 for a pocket clip.
Yeah.
It was good, and now it's fucking completely in the gutter.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's just a new round of collectors. Like a lot of the guys that were in it at the time had money and they were willing to spend. And then you go through this thing where you realize some of these makers are assholes. They really are.
Yeah.
They're very arrogant. And then those collectors drop off and then new ones come in. And it's a lot of things that factor into it. China is making really good shit. And it's kind of pushing these American handmade makers kind of off to the wayside because you can get something just as nice or nicer from China. It fucking sucks, but that's just the way it is.
So I have all just knives for utilitarian purposes. I don't
Yeah.
have any fancy shit at all. And
Actually brought a fancy knife to show you.
really,
Yeah, I did.
but I do. This is so fucking unrelated, but I just feel like you've probably seen this too, because who hasn't? I watched this dude on YouTube that makes knives out of just everything.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, they're the most ridiculous things.
Like the fucking plastic candle wax soot knife.
A piece of like gluten.
Yeah.
He made a fucking knife out of gluten, and gluten, fun fact, is like harder than steel if you like fucking
so
do
fucking
whatever he
stupid.
did to it.
What?
I always
Yeah,
watch
dude.
that shit too, and I'm just like, why am I watching this?
And it's not like they're not short videos. They're like 20 minutes. Like you can only get through 3 in an hour. And I sit there and I go, what? What's he doing? And then the person doesn't talk. It's over. I think it's in Japan.
Yeah,
It's over in Japan. They don't talk. They got all these little fucking gizmos or gadgets and, gizmos and shit like that. And they don't talk. And I just go, what's he doing? What is that? What the fuck? There's no way. That can't be harder than, like, I talk to the TV. And I'm just like, finally, about 12 minutes in, I fast forward to the end and I watch
So the
them cut
process of
vegetables.
making like an actual decent knife isn't that hard. So you start with a billet of whatever steel you want, and there's fucking thousands of different steels.
Where do you just order shit?
Yeah, you can order online. Yeah, anything you want.
Okay.
Alpha
And then
Knife,
what?
Alpha Knife Supply,
Do you have
Midwest
to-
Knife Makers.
Then what? How the fuck do you take something down to a knife? I am actually genuinely curious.
You come over, we'll build one sometime. So you have
Yeah.
to get a billet of steel, and you trace out whatever the fuck you want it to look like that's in your head, and then you cut it out either with a bandsaw or you have it water jetted. I had a lot of my designs water jetted. I drew it in CAD and then had them water jetted just for
That's fucking
simplicity. And then, yeah, you have a knife grinder, which is basically a 2x72 belt grinder, and you grind that motherfucker out. Grind the bevels in it, put handles on it. I mean, it sounds easy, but it's definitely
I see the process a lot
meticulous.
from Chris. I see when he's got like 7 and 8 and 9 like hanging up before they
Yeah.
have handles and shit like that. I'm like,
yeah, before or after heat treat. So yeah, he must be pretty into making fixed blades. Then.
well, he's been making he's been building machines. He's been a big time machine builder, and also just he makes art and shit out of
Yeah.
metal. He's been doing that for literally at least 20.
Does he
30
do like
years.
art knives, or does he do like practical hunting?
He does.
EDC
I
type of
couldn't tell
shit?
you. I would
Okay.
have to show you, and then you tell me what the fuck it is, because I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is they look pointy and sharp, and they could spread the fuck out of butter. So, no, don't you know another guy? Like, I know the knife community is strong to an extent.
It's tight knit and it's fucking clicky, is
Like,
what it is.
everybody knows everybody type thing.
Yeah, it depends on what you're into. But so I was into custom knives, custom folders specifically, and yeah, that side of it is super clicky, and yeah, it got tiresome. So I kind of backed off, sold my collection, and haven't been doing as much anymore.
Yeah, wasn't that you sent me an article one time? Wasn't a guy that was in the community or something?
Yeah.
The knife, or he
Yeah, a buddy of mine actually. Yeah, his name was Bo. We were pretty good friends. He was one of the first guys I met when I went to Atlanta for a blade show. He just got in trouble for some sort of insurance fraud and
$120 million.
$120 million or some shit like that. They were creating false applications, and he was pushing it through his HR company. And they were paying premiums, and they were pocketing the premiums, and there were claims coming in, and they weren't able to pay out the claims. And this motherfucker,
My guy.
if you look at his Instagram, it's like a meme of himself. It's like owner of $100 million company, and he just bought a Tesla, and he bought a Jeep Gladiator, and he has all these fucking cars in this fucking $3 million home, and it's like, either you were completely oblivious. So his business partner was the guy that got him in as a partner. So either he was completely oblivious to this fake fucking paperwork they were pushing through, or he just was a scumbag. It's either or.
Man, it's
Weird.
probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So other than the farming industry, did you play any sports growing up?
I played baseball when I was in middle school. I did not play any sports in high school.
Did you play any sports, Colin?
I played basketball in 5th and 6th grade. Before that, I played coach pitch baseball.
There are so many sports out there that I didn't know were a real thing until I was an adult. Like frisbee golf.
I'm guessing you didn't play. Did you play anything?
Yeah, I played baseball a few years, maybe 3-4 years. Went undefeated 1 year, first place another year.
Was that high school or was that junior?
No, that was
Junior?
JV.
Yeah, that's-
And then high school, I didn't play shit. By then, I already had enormous pants and I skated. So, sports, fuck you, jocks. Like that's, that was my attitude by the time I got there. And then I played basketball. Actually, I might have been in high school when I played basketball, but I played for a church league.
Yeah.
And I was like probably 13, 14.
I was not allowed to wear wide leg jeans in high school. It was fucking terrible.
Super strict. But that was a parent thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that was a parent thing.
So my grandma used to always take me to go get school clothes and shit like that, and I came back with these big ass Levi pipe jeans and shit like that.
We
and
talked about pipes.
My mom was like, "Take those things back."
That's hilarious.
No, there's like whole things of sports that I didn't know existed, and like,
Hold on, my son is texting me. So keep going.
And one of them is disc golf or frisbee golf.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! I feel like all of a sudden. Wow.
Sorry about that.
Wow, little SpongeBob? Is that his ringtone?
No, he sent me a video. He said, "Can you bring B's iPad and my water bottle over here?" He's down the street just trying to get me to bring him some shit.
Very nice.
I'm like, not home.
And then, so like curling is another one. What are some other fucking random goddamn sports that you guys didn't even know existed until you were adults?
Fuck, I don't even know. I don't really watch any sports either. I don't.
Your American points are just going down.
Well, that's what whenever you said that.
Doesn't watch sports. Didn't vote for Trump.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
Responsible gun owner.
I'm more of a fucking artist than anything else. That's why I love doing the knife stuff.
Yeah.
And I never got into sports when I was in high school for whatever reason. It is probably because my dad wasn't around, honestly. But I wrestled in middle school, and let's see, I wrestled for Norton Middle School, and there were 4 people on the fucking team, and I was the best wrestler at my weight class, so I had to wrestle heavyweight against PV. So I was literally 140 pounds. I wrestled this fat motherfucker that weighed 200 and some pounds, and he just laid on me, and I was done after that. I was like, this is fucking stupid.
I weighed 120 pounds until I was out of high school.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I probably weighed 120, 130 until I was 19.
And see, that's different for you because you're what, 6'1"?
No, I'm like 5'11".
Really? Oh, you're definitely taller than me. And so mine was like, I was probably like 115 pounds and then 5 pounds of clothing.
I was 175 when I graduated high school.
I'm quite literally 175 right now.
Are you? I'm 240 pounds right now.
Solid beef.
It's solid fucking fat.
Solid
I'm coming
beef.
up on 190. I'm heavier than I've ever been.
Fucking fat.
Do either of you guys watch UFC?
I do.
Holy fuck.
Did you watch the knockout last weekend?
Jorge Masvidal or Masvidal or whatever?
Beat the fuck out of Ben Askren.
Yeah.
So
with five fucking seconds.
Absolutely. We watched. So what's funny about that is, sorry to interrupt you, but do you fuck with Oculus Rift or anything like that?
No.
VR headsets. So me, Ben, and James. Well, actually, it was just me and Ben that night.
Were you guys watching
Fuck
the fights?
yes, we were.
Shut the fuck up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we were. James couldn't. He fell asleep because he's an old man. But me and Ben were in this room with a bunch of stoners, dude. It was the funniest fucking shit. It was the most fun I've ever had on that. They were just talking shit like, I hope this guy doesn't win because I'm about to lose my house. It was like the funniest shit. It reminded me of being young and like in chat rooms.
So you don't watch UFC really, right? Okay, so the whole thing is there was like kind of a grudge match. And
it wasn't the knockout in like a couple
5 seconds.
seconds.
Oh, yeah. It's a record.
I saw the knockout.
He had that dude's fucking number is what he did.
Yeah, he knew exactly what was up.
Yeah.
Shit. Anyway, so whenever I like put on the fights and I look at their weights and shit, and then I look at the shape they're in, I'm like, wow, like that's what I'm supposed to look like. I'm the same height as this guy, and I'm 175. I'd be fucking fighting monsters. These dudes these dudes are like 5'10".
Well, to be fair, you would cut down and then you'd come into the ring at 175.
I would literally have to cut half my body off. Almost.
No, you'd cut down to 130 or something like that, then come in at 170. That's usually the way it goes.
But guys. that big of a gap? I thought like when you
they cut
I thought
30
it was like
pounds.
Jesus.
No,
I thought it was like 20. I thought 20 was like
big
steep.
time. But that guy had that dude's number. So Ben Askren was a grappler, so he went in to grab his legs, and Jorge Masvidal just had been practicing this flying knee thing, and he came in and hit him right here, and it was the most knocked out that I've seen anybody. He was stiff. His leg was.
Do you remember that uppercut from Francis Ngannou?
I don't know if I watched that fight. That was recent, wasn't it?
I feel like I want to get into watching UFC now.
It might have been it's like in the last 10, but I don't really remember when it was.
Francis Ngannou's a fucking beast.
He's the scariest human.
You can say it's the scariest black dude that you've ever seen.
No, but he's not the scariest black dude. He's the scariest human, period. And like there are I've seen some monsters in my time. Like I went to the Stipe fight, right? In Cleveland. Yeah. When he defended his title.
Yeah.
And I see these people on TV, but nothing is like when you're there and you're looking at like all these guys that are like, 5'10" and shit, and they're like not really even barely poking above the fucking ring.
Yeah.
And then these monsters walk out and like their fucking whole like torsos above the ring, and I'm just like, I would just not ever want to fight any of these dudes.
The last fight I went to was the Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey fight. The first time they fought for Strikeforce, we went in Columbus, and there's a whole bunch of dudes walking around. We ended up getting our way down to front row somehow. We told security that there were some assholes behind us, and they believed us, and they moved us down to front row.
Wow.
So all these guys are walking by, and Ben was naturally with me. He was like, hey, that's fucking Cowboy Cerrone. You know who that is?
Yeah, he had his hat on.
Donald Cerrone, he had his hat on, and Ben went to like take a picture with him and knocked his fucking hat off.
Shut up.
And he didn't say anything, but you could see it on his face. Like, this motherfucker just knocked my hat off.
I'm trying to, at some point I was in the arena district, and I'm sure like of all the people that remember this, it'd either be Kyle or Dave. Those motherfuckers have memories like just unbelievable memories. But I remember being in the arena district and we're at a bar and I look over and I see a bunch of people crowded around somebody, and it was like when some MMA fighters were in town and a few of them were there. There wasn't like a fight or anything, but I didn't even go talk to them. I was like, I don't want to talk to them. I'm straight. What is that? Is that more Metallica?
It's one. It's the same song. They're playing the
I'm
whole
changing
thing
the
now.
subject here, but do you have a double-sided candle on your fucking leg?
Yeah.
It's cool.
You got one somewhere over
Yeah, right here.
there? Let me see it. Oh, very nice.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a super common tattoo.
Also
though.
a tattoo I've thought of getting.
Yeah,
Really?
super common. Burning the candle at both
Yeah,
ends,
that's
just
kinda-
working yourself to death.
That's
exactly.
why I got it. It's kind of like an homage to my dad, actually, because of the eagle and some bullshit that I thought up at one point in time.
Yeah, I went to Chad Linger, black metal tattoo. That's my dude
Anyway,
right
sorry.
there.
I saw that. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I want to say that's probably my most recent tattoo.
Looks newish.
Yeah, maybe a year.
This shit on my
Some
leg is like
change.
7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, it's in there. I
Yeah.
got some shit on my leg that's not even finished. What's up, Dave? Let me
Sierra's halfway through getting her hands tattooed. She's got outlines,
Oh, really?
getting them colored in soon.
Who's doing them?
Bisu.
Oh, nice. Sacred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. She's got, it's like for our kids. So there's a rabbit for Miles because he likes bunnies. And it's going to be a calico cat for Rowan. And then when she puts her thumbs together, there's a bumblebee for Beatrice.
Nice.
And the cool thing though is around the line work, there's this blue ink. And that's like raised from behind the bee. We totally derailed this conversation.
That's
I'm sorry,
fine.
man.
What were we even talking about? I don't even know.
I don't
We're
know
talking
either,
about
but-
being in the arena district or some shit.
Oh.
Anyway,
We're talking about fighting. It doesn't matter.
This blue ink. Brittany has. What is so funny? Do you know? Oh.
No, I'm jamming over here.
I want to know what band it is in here that's playing the goddamn Metallica song.
Usually there's not a band in here on Sunday, so I think it's somebody that rented for the day.
Anyway, they're probably called like Sad But True,
Yeah.
Columbus's premier Metallica cover band, or Reload. Anyway, this blue ink, I guess she has like a couple canisters or a couple jars of different colors, like primary color inks that she got from some tattooer. It's like one of her prized possessions, and he's like the first guy in America, I believe, to employ female tattoo artists. So she's got some, and he made ink too. That was like,
Yeah.
so she's got some of his ink, and she saves it mostly because she said like this is a collector's item, it's gonna be worth something.
Right.
But like she uses it on like certain girlfriends and stuff, like so like my wife's like part of like feminist tattoo history or something like that. It's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's and it's a beautiful color too. It's like really sweet.
I was gonna ask if you guys ever have people like stare at you because you have tattoos. I mean,
Fuck
yeah.
I just have my leg done, and I get
Oh,
people
yeah.
fucking staring at me. I don't have anything else other than my arm, and people just sort of zoned in on my leg. I'm like, what the
See, I have a benefit because if like you got parents who are like pulling their kids closer to them, you know, like, oh, tattoo guy. It doesn't happen as much anymore because tattoos are much
Yeah,
more
it's-
culturally
yeah.
accepted. But I have a leg up on everybody because my sleeve is all dinosaurs.
Okay.
So if it's like some little boy that's staring at my sleeve, then I just go, "You like dinosaurs? I got a T-Rex up here," and like,
awesome.
then everybody thinks it's cool, and then it's just stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
So
I said that, and I remembered you talking about it on here, how you got profiled when someone like rolled their window.
Oh, fuck yeah. It was at the post office.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what that was. I was trying to ask them a question, and I don't remember what it was.
It was about
now.
their car. It was like
Something. Oh
Do you
yeah,
like
I
this
wanted.
car?
I wanted to. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know if they liked the car because we were thinking about getting one. That's what it was. No, I get profiled all the time.
Speaking of cars, have you any of you guys ever drove a Tesla?
no,
No.
I've
So
wanted to.
last weekend, whenever 4th of July was that last fucking Thursday, whatever it was, last Wednesday. Anyway, we went to my wife's brother's house. He has 5 acres out in Orient, and her uncle was coming over to do some fireworks, and he showed up in a Tesla. I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Can I drive that thing?" He's like, "Hell yeah, you can drive it."
A 3 or an S?
It was a 3. It was a 3 non-performance model, and that thing was fucking crazy
It's
fast.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Immediate torque. I mean, the motor's right
and
on the
then it
axle.
has the regenerative braking, so you don't touch the brake pedal at all. It's like a hydrostatic lawnmower. You go, you let off the fucking gas, and it stops. It's so fucking weird.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's weird as shit.
Nissan Leaf does that too.
Does it?
Where I believe there's a prototype version that doesn't even have a brake pedal. It's just one pedal.
What?
Really?
It's crazy.
That
Well,
would
that's the way
fucking
you could drive
terrify
this
me.
Tesla is with one pedal, because it threw me off so bad. I was like, God damn, it made me sweat. I was like, this is fucking weird. I was sitting there like, okay.
So my company does a lot of our work is in the automotive industry, and we do a lot of usability testing on driving conditions in cars and stuff like that. And we were doing some testing, and we were benchmarking a Model S, and we had a camera in the back seat of this Tesla that was watching what was going on and listening to the interview or whatever. And my coworker was driving, and he put it into like the whatever it's called, the ludicrous mode or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just punched it, and the camera's behind their heads, and it's crazy. All of a sudden, you just see them both go, boom! Their heads just slam against the back. He said it really feels like someone's pushing the car out from underneath you.
Yeah, I'd love to drive
crazy.
one of the ones with ludicrous mode. That, I mean, they're too expensive. They're out of reach for normal people. They really are.
Oh yeah, way out of reach.
Yeah.
The
I
Model
like-
X with ludicrous or the Model S, they're $125,000, and it's like, fuck.
I just don't know. I'll probably never buy one.
Well, I think 5 years from now, right now Tesla is pretty novel, but I think the Model 3 being as wildly successful as it is, every single car company is racing right now to get a cheap electric vehicle on the market.
Yeah.
Or with autonomous features and all that stuff. And I think 5 years from now it'll be a lot different. I think 5 years from now we'll all be talking about when we're going to get an electric car.
Yeah.
I really do.
Are you friends with? I asked you this before. We've already talked about this. Brian Kozicki has one, and he that little confusing ass fucking stretch of 23 where you're coming from my house and you're like getting onto either 315 or 270. He took it there just to test it in the rain, and it worked fine.
Nice.
I'm like, that's great. Everybody needs that feature because nobody can navigate that fucking section. It's the fucking worst.
So I guess I didn't know that they all come with autopilot. They just all don't come with like auto lane change. So all of
Correct.
the Model 3s come with autopilot. I didn't know
They do
that.
have to change. They do have to change the name from autopilot, I believe, to like autonomous
straight line
features or something like that, because people were thinking, oh, it's like a plane. I don't have to do anything. I can
Yeah.
take a nap. And it's like, no, you still have to be
I'm
vigilant.
pretty sure you have to touch the steering wheel every
Yeah.
like 30 seconds or some shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, GM's.
Oh no, there was a company making some sort of device that would simulated a hand and that would touch it. And
Yeah.
and they had to nix
It's a plastic clip that you
Yeah.
put on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
GM Super Cruise. It's only in their Cadillac CTS or something like that. It's only in like a really high end Cadillac right now, but there's a color bar on the steering wheel, and it's green when the autonomous features are on, and it has eye tracking technology to make sure that your eyes are staying on the road. And if you're talking, you turn and talk to somebody, the steering wheel starts shaking and it'll turn red and start like blaring at you.
Wow.
It literally sees if you're paying attention.
So
So
my
what the fuck is the
Android
point of
phone
that?
has that. I mean, shit.
You're what?
I said my Android phone has that. Honestly, it really does. It tracks my pupils, and then the screen will stay on. And if I look away from it for too long, it'll shut off. But if like you're reading like a really long thing, it also has the thing where as I'm reading, as I get to the bottom, it'll auto scroll based on where my pupils are.
Really? Does it work pretty well?
Yeah, but it's fucking super novelty. Like, when am I ever reading like a 7-page essay on my phone? So
does it work with Instagram where you can just like?
No, but
I actually want that because I am constantly reading super ass long articles.
Yeah, so that is a feature. But with Instagram, there's another thing where like you didn't have to touch a screen. You could just do, it's like a hover swipe. You just go like this and you can keep swiping. It has that. It uses all the sensors on the front to just know you're doing this.
Oh shit.
God damn it. I hit the microphone. It's been a couple episodes.
Being a Mac nerd, I follow like macrumors.com and stuff like that just to kind of see what's coming down the pike. And yes, before you say it, most of it is just rehashes of stuff Android did 5 years ago.
Yep.
But they have a new feature that has shown up in a couple betas of iOS 13 that comes out in the fall, that it's FaceTime eye correction. And basically what it does is, you're FaceTiming somebody and you're not looking at the camera, you're looking at their picture, or so it looks like you're looking down.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like you're looking at the person. This thing does takes the depth map of your face, your phone has the thing too, with Face ID, and takes the depth map of your face and literally computer generates your eyes and turns them up straight on.
Shut the fuck up.
I saw some screenshots of it and I saw a video of it, and all it's doing is very quickly basically morphing around a 3D model of your face. But the fact that it can do that shit so fast is outrageous.
I just don't even, was that big of a problem? That's a problem that needed solved, though?
I don't think it's a problem that needs solved. I think it's one of those things where they just have a team that's coming up with weird shit like that, and they're like, oh, our user testing shows that
I want them to fix
we get way more engagement with FaceTime if it looks like the person's actually looking at you.
I want them to fix it to where if the fucking sun is behind you and you can't use FaceTime.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fucking terrible.
That's a real thing?
Yeah. For me, it is.
Just
if the sun is to my back and I'm looking at my phone, it will not unlock. It sounds so first world problem.
That is, super first world problem. Just pull up Facebook Messenger, man.
It's like, oh my God, I have to type in numbers.
Yeah.
I have to touch my phone to get into it.
Trivial things.
Yeah, see, that's what we should go to now. We should go to some trivial things.
You do your trivial things. I've got an full-on old man simula.
Do you?
Which is the next level of trivial things.
Why don't we just start with that?
Okay.
If you're queued up and ready to go, let's.
Because it's something I'm pissed about.
Get fired up, Colin.
I'm pissed about.
Triggered Colin.
I'm pissed about this early 2000s metalcore revival. You saw me post about this shit the other day.
Don't be pissed about this.
I finally verbalized last night why it pisses me off.
All right, let's hear it.
Because back for this one.
No, it's fine. I just gotta say it for a second. So I saw this news article that some band just signed to Prosthetic Records called "GIF from God,"
which it's pronounced "GIF."
Shut the fuck.
So that doesn't make any sense.
Shut the fuck up.
You call it GIF?
I'm gonna turn your goddamn microphone off.
Is it? It's fucking
the guy who invented it said it's pronounced GIF, and the whole collective web design internet was like, "Fuck off! You didn't invent it." Anyway, they're called "GIF from God," which is stupid, but it is that early.
This is
people listening to this. This is probably going to get flagged on iTunes for having copyrighted content in the background.
For them, hopefully, right? That means they're playing it that well enough.
But Lars Ulrich is going to be like sending us.
Yeah, because they're super anti iTunes and shit, aren't they?
Anyway,
they fought Napster.
No,
you say they fought Napster?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. That was the whole thing.
That was the thing.
And I see the picture of this band and they look like an early 2000s metalcore band. I'm like, dude, if Bootcut Jeans come back, I'm going to firebomb this place.
Bootcut Jeans were never here. Colin, you can't convince me otherwise. Right. Just because you wore them didn't mean that they were.
Moving on. And
talking like bell bottoms or like actual boot cut.
But
a little bit of both.
Girls.
I wore boot cut.
Girls jeans.
No.
Girls jeans with boot cuts.
Yeah, but you probably had boots on.
I do. Yeah.
No, you're allowed to wear boot cuts. They never went away, and they're never coming back because they're always there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like their photo looks like an early 2000s
It does.
photo, and then I listen to their music, and it's like, and I'm just like,
Where'd you find their music?
it was like on Lamb Goat.
Oh, I saw the thing you posted and I went to it because I said honestly, I'm gonna go listen to it and I'll probably like it.
And that's the thing is like I can get down with it. I can get down not with that, but I can get down with a little bit of like we talked about this before. I felt like Code Orange did the early 2000s nostalgia really well. That band Vane does like spastic heavy metalcore really well. There's a lot of bands doing that early 2000s metalcore well. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. But the reason I hate it is because I know a lot of these kids were born in like 1996, so they're playing it thinking like, oh, I totally missed this. But it's like, I lived it. And the fact that it's only been 15 years and you guys are rehashing the whole fucking thing, long song titles with silly names, all of that stupid shit.
Yeah.
Dude, it just makes me feel like giving up. Like, really? We're already
very,
back around to this shit?
It was
15
very
years?
like I set my friends on fire.
Yeah, dude. I get out of here. Get the fuck out. Come up with new ideas.
Now, Colin, to play devil's advocate, I did give the new Torch record a listen, right? Mm-hmm. And I've checked out some of these other bands that you've sent me, and we just don't vibe musically when it comes to this. And it's because, and like I said, like, even though a lot of these bands you're listening to and that I'm listening to, they give nods to these old bands, whatever decade they came from, right? Mm-hmm. Like we talked about like some old, Soundgarden vibes and Black Sabbath vibes and shit like that. And the reason I don't like them is because when I do want to hear something like that, I go back to the source. I don't know why I'm okay with new bands coming out sounding like bands I listened to in the early 2000s, but I am. Just like you're okay with bands like Torch and Conan and shit like that.
That's totally fine. And I will say, while we're on the subject, I just want to throw out there Colin's quick record reviews. Torch Admission came out on Friday. It's half hour long. I've listened to it probably 8 times all the way through since Friday. And it's one of those records that first listen, I knew I was in love with it. And for somebody who's been a big fan of that band for like 13, 14 years, it has the magic that made me fall in love with them. And it may unseat my favorite record of theirs. That's saying something.
I've listened to nothing but rap.
And that's fine. And I get to see Torch opening up for Baroness next Friday night at the Newport for my birthday.
Oh my God.
I couldn't think of a more tailored birthday show for me. It's the day after my birthday on a Friday night.
Yeah, that really is perfect for you.
So I'm very stoked about it.
I have a friend, Andrew, who is a huge Baroness fan as well. And I sent you the screen cap of this, but I had to, he's one of those, like, he's the most opinionated person in the entire universe, right? I had to get his take on it because the internet has been on fire, just hating on Baroness and the record and the sound. And just
not just the sound.
The record and the sound.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
This is totally not going to make it on YouTube or fucking iTunes.
Yeah, this probably not. No, so I hit him up and I go, hey, what did you think?
Literally one of my favorite records of the year, though. But people are shitting all over the production and the songwriting.
Yeah, so I asked him, I said, what did you think about it? Because I know he's a big fan too. And he said, I fucking can't think what he said, but he said something like, the snare drum sounds like when you pull a stale piece of bread out of the plastic like wrapper. And I was like, he comes up with all these little things like that no one would ever say. Like nobody would ever use that to describe something. I can always count on Andrew for some fucking quip.
I absolutely, for the record, I absolutely understand why people hate the production. I think it works. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Can we talk about things I've learned from this podcast?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please, by all means. We've been dying to know that somebody is utilized.
I had no idea when I was listening to Limp Bizkit and Korn that it was called nu metal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm probably going to sound so fucking stupid to the people that watch this thing, but...
Korn's got a new album coming out.
Do they?
Yeah.
That new song fucking bangs,
That new song is so good.
It just was a bunch of teenage angst I had built up that I loved that shit,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely called nu metal. And then from there there's...
So I listened to Static X too, and some guy... Is that considered nu metal?
Oh, yeah,
also?
that's nu metal.
So that was my shit back in the day, back in high school.
R.I.P. Wayne Static.
Mm-hmm. They're back, though.
Yeah.
They are back with they're on tour right now, and it's a tribute they have new music, but it's a tribute to Wayne Static's life, and they have a guy who's got his hair sticking up and has a mask on doing vocals. People are the rumor has it is that it's the Edsel Dope, the singer of Dope, or something like that.
I played with them so many times.
Is the vocalist? That's what the rumor is. But
we played with Static X, and Dope was on that show. Like they toured a lot together.
I'm trying to think of who else. I listened to Head PE.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, Head PE.
Yeah. Spine Shank. We talked about that a little bit.
Fuck yeah, Spine Shank. That.
I went another day of my life. I remember that song.
Oh yeah. Fuck man, you just threw me off. You got me in my new metal nostalgia right now.
I'll keep going, man.
Did you see that Chris, one of the percussionists from Slipknot, is battling with Slipknot? He's out the band.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
And the guy who replaced him, which the internet is fondly calling Tortilla Man.
Tortilla Man.
Because his mask looks like a tortilla.
Well,
I don't see it.
Well, I thought, you know what? Is that why? Is it because his mask looks like a tortilla?
It had something to do with the mask.
I thought, because I know they said in one picture they could see a second mask underneath that one, and they thought that was the Tortilla Man mask. I thought Tortilla Man was like this known guy.
Oh, I have no idea.
And it's like, oh my God, you got Tortilla Man.
But the rumor has it that he is... the drummer Zach Hill. He was in a weird artsy band called Hella, and he's also in that really crazy distorted rap group Death Grips. He's a really crazy drummer, but rumor has it it's him.
Slipknot's been taking L's. First, Corey blew out his nuts, screaming too hard.
That new Slipknot song
literally
fucking
blew out
jams,
his nuts.
He blew out a nut. I mean, that's what he said.
Speaking of blowing out nuts.
Oh my God, you have a blown out nut story?
I do. When I was a kid.
Speaking of blown out nuts, what a way to introduce
I grew
the
up on
story.
a lake when I was a kid down at Lake White in southern Ohio, and there's like no rules down there. So I used to ride around a wave runner when I was like 12 years old around the whole fucking lake. And I hit this giant wave, and I came down on my balls, and this is like right when my balls dropped when I was a kid. And I must have looked like the biggest fucking idiot out on the lake because I had my hand down my pants checking for my nuts. I thought they were fucking gone. I thought they were completely gone.
That happened to me when I fell on a rail at Schiller Park, and Kyle was there. I was like, let me just get one more quick grind on this rail before we film. And then I wish we filmed because that pretty much ended my skating career. I was going down a rail, and I fell, and I was so convinced my asshole was bleeding.
Yeah.
I was 100% convinced. And I told Kyle, I was like, dude, it's bleeding. My whole asshole is bleeding. I can feel the blood. Like, you feel blood running down your... I was like, I can feel it. I go in the... it's a park, or a skating, so they had a... what the fuck the indoor thing? What's the park? What is that building called? The recreation center? There you go.
A rec center?
Yeah, rec center. So I go in that and I go to the bathroom and I had my fucking pants around my ankles and I'm like trying to wipe my ass with toilet paper, but my whole area is so sore because I just fell on a rail. So I couldn't really wipe. And there was no blood. And I'm like, wow, maybe my butthole is just sweating. Dude, when you get hit in that area, the things that happen to your body are just unexplainable.
One time I was, I think, a senior in high school and was hanging out with my friends, and we were getting to my house. We were walking from my car from my friend's car to the front door of my house. And my best friend in high school used to do this. He was a big, tall dork, really tall guy, big dork. And he used to do this thing. He'd go, Raptor! And he would, because he was so much bigger than everybody.
I literally still do that.
He would run up and jump and hook onto your shoulders and put his whole body weight on your back. And it was funny. So he was walking ahead of me, and I was next to my other friend Lance, and I was like, I'm gonna Raptor him. And so I run up and I'm like, Raptor! And he's a jumpy guy, and he turns around, and with his big ass lanky leg and his giant size 17 foot or whatever the fuck, just straight. I've never been hitting the nuts harder. And I was just in the air and I just went down, and I was like crying, and and my mom was pulling in from work. I'm a senior in high school. My mom was pulling in from work. My other best friend, Lance, when I say best friend, and my boy Carl, who's probably listening to this, will know that I'm going best friend because of this shit.
The air quotes.
And he goes, oh shit. Sue just pulled in. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Get in the car. And they jump in the car and leave me writhing on the ground in my front yard. My mom comes out and they're gone. And she's like, what is going on? And I'm just like, camper kicked me in the nuts, man. I'm laying on the couch. I had to ice my balls. He hit me so hard. And it was like, I felt like I had blue balls for like 2 days. And he called me 15 minutes later when he got home. And he goes, dude, I feel really bad that Lance like made us leave. Are you okay? I'm so sorry. And like all of a sudden, he called and apologized for kicking me in the nuts.
Crucial nut stories.
Crucial nuts.
Well, so since you're the guest, Brian, do you want to give us a trivial thing?
Oh, yeah, we were on that.
Yeah,
My
trivial
bad.
things. He's probably gonna fucking hate me. He won't listen to this anyway. But so on Monday mornings, we're responsible for doing our paperwork, timesheets, all that kind of bullshit. Well, the guy that I work directly with, there's 2 of us on the crew. He usually goes in after the meeting. We have Monday morning meetings, and he goes in there afterwards and bullshits with my dad about like fucking cars and donkey trips into the fucking Grand Canyon. I don't know. And I'm out there doing paperwork, doing his timesheet and all this shit. And then he'll come out after it's all said and done. And he'll like stand over me and be like, "You need anything?" And I'll sit there and he'll like tap the fucking desk.
Yeah.
And it just fucking drives me nuts.
Oh, I'm kind of a tapper.
Are you?
Yeah, but
it's in the fact like, are you done yet? And I just got done
tap.
doing all of the fucking paperwork. Fuck off.
Yeah.
My wife hates that. I'm a drummer first, so
Yeah.
And I heard it the other night. Last night we were playing some games, and Sierra posted like a Snapchat of something like a piece of chocolate sitting on the table or something like that being funny. But we're listening to a record, and you can hear me with we're playing Yahtzee, and you can hear me with my pencil tapping the song. And in the Snapchat video, I was like, oh man, I am really annoying.
Oh, man. See, I do
like
that
it even
too.
annoyed me.
I tap my fingers, but like it's just the context of like you're bullshitting. Then you come out and ask if I need anything, and you're still tapping your fingers like I'm
All right, one more.
holding you up.
Whiskey Colin.
I can't drink it out of that. It's the
Whiskey
metal
Colin.
taste in my mouth is fucking with me.
You want me to reach over? I saw you had some. We have some cups right here.
Nah, I'm good. I gotta drive.
Yeah, fair enough. Responsible.
So do I.
Yeah, you're going like
Yeah,
8
like
feet.
5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm 39 specific minutes away.
No.
I told him the other day. He goes. I bet he brings some whiskey with him. And I was like, Whiskey Colin's fun. I'm starting to feel it kind of come on now. But I'm also really tired today. But whiskey is the reason why my wife has suggested that I get a volume knob tattoo.
You said that, but I didn't ask why. Because you can't turn your volume down?
Because I turn into a loud, boisterous, annoying piece of shit.
This one goes
Just
to
If I kept drinking, if I had 2 or 3 more, I can house half a bottle of whiskey, no problem. And because
Do we need to talk about this?
no, because I don't do it all the time.
Episode 15 is now an intervention.
But like because beer drunk, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, that gets everybody. Yeah.
But whiskey drunk, I'm like here. My head is here, my mouth is here, but then I just like lose motor function. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like I remember one time drinking half a bottle of Maker's Mark with my neighbor and walked home. Like he was next door, and I walked into my house, and I remember like trying to brush my teeth and being like, "Move hand," And but I just my volume control just goes out the window, and I'm a loud guy as it is, and I get really boisterous, and like Sierra will like if we're hanging out and I'm drinking whiskey.
I've drank a half a bottle of that shit and went outside and made knives. Like
my wife will be like, she'll be like, bring it down, bring it. So she actually, and I'm gonna do it because it's a suggestion that she gave me, not just Whiskey Colin, but overall Colin.
You're going to do it like photorealistic. So it's
Like I want to have like a classic, old school volume dial,
like from the Fenders.
Yeah,
Remember
something
the
like that.
Fenders?
Is it like on Max? Is it going to say like Whiskey Colin?
It should be like be like broken and hanging at the bottom.
Yeah, like number 1 is like beer, and then
Then Whiskey Colin.
Yeah, this one goes to 11.
Maybe not your first name on there. That'd be kind
To give you some instant feedback, I will say that that was surprisingly good. Whatever you made at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was surprisingly good. I could see myself. It's more of a sip drink.
Sure.
You should try it, just a little sip of it straight.
Yeah.
It does
I probably
have
will.
It does have rum sweetness.
Hey, let me drink some of this water that's in here.
That rum sweetness does give it nice little smoothness. It's nice.
I have 3 kids. I'm not contagious, I don't think.
Plus, I got this delicious body armor drink. It's official UFC sports drink. This is literally the tap out of sports drinks. Like, tap out clothing?
Yeah. Or the 50 cent volume or vitamin water shit, whatever that was.
Speaking of water, no,
okay.
Too much?
No, that's interesting.
But it adds a smoothness to it that's nice.
Something on the lips.
Oh yeah, my lips have been numb for this whole time.
Very nice.
It's sweet like rum.
But
I like that.
I know I said last week that if I didn't have 10 tweets by the next episode, you could take over. There has only been one. It was me tweeting the episode out with my own description of the episode.
Honestly, I only made a Twitter because you said it was your thing of your choice preference, social media.
I have felt guilty about it all week, though. It's been in the back of my head like, you should be tweeting. But in my tweet, I said, when I gave my description of the podcast, because I write my own description for the tweet.
Good.
And I was like, and don't listen to Jeff. Drinking tap water is fine.
Very nice.
Have you guys thought of a different name? I know you were thinking about.
No, we need to.
I've had several people send me like a list of names.
Yeah.
And
so where are you getting the push from, like, to change it? I like the name. So I told you that. I said, don't change it.
I think it's, and I'm leaning towards just saying, fuck it. Like, we started with this. Let's just keep going with this. But it came from every time somebody who doesn't know, I guess, listens to it, they go, oh, I thought it was only for dads.
Yeah.
And I go, it's called Heckin' Cool Dads because it's by dads, not for dads. And so then I did what any fucking millennial in this day and age would do. I asked Reddit. I went to Reddit and I said, here's my fucking conundrum. And I posted out my shit and I got feedback from a podcasting subreddit that I'm part of.
Yeah.
And like overwhelming, it was like 90% were like, yeah, honestly, if I was scrolling through, I would have assumed that's a parent's podcast and just kept going. And so,
I mean, that's fair.
It kind of confirmed. What
I like
was
the name. To be honest with you, I didn't really like it so much at first, but the more we've done it, I like it more, and it doesn't like bother me. But I get it.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. Like, I don't hate the name. Like,
so if we think of a better name, I'll change it. But I'm not like in any hurry.
Same here. I think that's where I'm at.
By the way,
it took a couple episodes.
When you set up the Twitter, I assume you followed a bunch of people because it's mostly like the Joe Budden podcast and like.
I don't know what I followed. I followed whatever was in my fucking.
But I get Twitter notifications all the time now.
Turn it off, man.
But no, I know. But this one says, this just came up. DJ Academics just tweeted a video. A pimp named Blueface describes how he met his 2 girlfriends and how he piped them down the first night.
Yeah.
City Boys Rookie of the Year right here.
Yeah.
I get so many weird underground rap tweets.
Do you not know who Academics is?
I know who he is, but it's just funny. Like,
that is funny.
I get so much like that, like shit that I don't give a shit. This guy dicked down 2 girls.
Well, he's in a relationship with 2 girls, and he kicked his mom and sister out of his house the other day because they were. Yeah, see, dude, I am fully into that shit. Like if it's rap, especially underground rap or whatever, count me in.
What's your favorite Run the Jewels song?
You know what? I kind of just overall think the entire first record was good.
Was it? I like the second record better.
They had similarities, but they were different vibes, and I dig the first one.
Zach De La Rocha showing up in a record or in a song on RDJ2.
Yeah,
is just supposedly there is an entire LP Zach De La Rocha record, like LP produced Zach De La Rocha rap album. Supposedly it exists. LP, meet me in the DMs if you want to release that shit,
dude. You did it again. That is literally your thing.
Just love it. I love it.
When you get really close.
Meet me in the DMs.
Yeah.
It's either to fight or a business proposal.
Exactly.
I got a question. What's your guys' top 3 podcasts?
Top 3 podcasts
you listen to?
Ironically enough, when you just said the Joe Budden podcast, that is probably my one I listen to religiously. I actually don't even listen to it on anything other than YouTube. Every single weekend, there's always 2 episodes waiting for me because I think they do a Wednesday and a Saturday, but I listened to the one from last Saturday and then Wednesday. And they're 2 hours and 40 minutes a piece. And so I wake up with my kid and I watch that one. Other than that, I listen to Tasteless Gentleman. I listen to some of the Freakonomics stuff. And if I'm looking for like a crime podcast, I just find one of the popular ones for the week.
Did you listen to S-Town?
No.
Oh, I heard that's awesome.
It's fucking great.
No, I did not.
But it's a one-time shot. It's not like every week, it's about this.
Do they do it in seasons where they drop a whole season?
There's only one season.
Oh, really?
It's really good. Yeah, you have to. I can't even begin to deravel it here. It's pretty damn good.
I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I used to, when my job was more, before I was in a management role.
Yeah.
When I actually had time where I could actually sit and commit to listening to 2-3 hours of something. I don't really have that anymore.
Yeah.
And really that's the only time, like, I mean, I could listen to podcasts like late at night if I wanted to, like while I'm playing Xbox or something like that. But, I do often when I'm driving on road trips. So like last weekend I went to North Carolina and back, and, I listened to 3 episodes of You Made It Weird, Pete Holmes podcast, comedian. And I love that guy. I mean, like I said, I don't listen to that many podcasts, but I almost always make time for Pete Holmes.
Yeah, all mine are comedians. I don't know if it's just because they're so well versed and able to speak well.
Yeah.
I listen to Joe Rogan and Bertcast and Your Mom's House pretty much.
So I do listen to Your Mom's House, but sometimes it gets a little slow for me.
Yeah, it does me too.
I'll
skip through like their ads and
exactly.
shit.
So that's why I'm saying like I don't follow any of them like religiously.
Yeah, the only one I do religiously is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is
great. Why I first ever got into podcasts.
Yeah.
Like it was back in the day, like there weren't a shit ton of podcasts, but you could always count on his to be fucking entertaining.
Did you watch the one with Wiz Khalifa? And they made like this parody video of how many times he said yeah, yep.
Nope.
He did it 66 times during the whole podcast.
So
that's hilarious.
That's a lot.
Yeah, yep.
Does it count? Because Jesus and Miro was a podcast before it was a show, right?
I think it was I thought it was just a YouTube thing that went into a complex thing.
So then they were on Viceland.
Yeah.
They are off Viceland. They're on Showtime now. And I pretty religiously watch their Showtime show.
Yeah, but because they do like do a lot of interviews or they do a lot of
it is basically a podcast. It's 2 guys laughing at pop culture shit.
Yeah, it is, and they do sneaker reviews and shit too. Like, so I used to be really into that, so I would always watch the sneaker reviews. I'm not even gonna go with the trivial thing. I don't have a trivial
I do listen
thing that bothers
to
me this month.
I don't listen to it religiously, but like because my wife's a big fan of Sword and Scale, that crime podcast that's like about like really heinous shit.
I haven't heard of that one. I listened to Dr. Death. That one was pretty good too.
Listen to Sword and Scale. It's pretty cool. Like it's really like getting into the minds of different guys on these kind of crazy heinous cases. But I like that. I don't listen to it, but I like if I'm going to listen to a podcast with my wife, like we both enjoy listening to that. Like when we're taking a
Do
drive.
either of you listen to history podcasts?
Mm-mm.
See, me either. And because for me, honestly, it's a little fucking boring.
I tried and it didn't work out.
It's because it's boring.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna take
I've listened to Star Talk, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty good.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's different.
Because he does like movie reviews and shit like
Yeah.
that, like his scientific view on some movies. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So I'm gonna
His
take this.
well, actually,
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I like the movie, but everything in it was completely wrong scientifically.
I'm gonna take this time to plug a friend who's starting up a podcast. It's called Repeating History. And like basically he listens to fuck tons of history podcasts. He's super into history. Knows way too much about all kinds of and knows all the cool stories too, right?
Yeah.
Like the violent ones and shit like that. And the problem is that
How come always the cool stories are the violent ones?
that's just the
It's
type of
America.
person
It's
I am.
just that's human history.
Yeah, that's just the type of person I am.
It really is though.
So like when he would try to talk about these with friends would go like, "Oh no, I couldn't get into it. It was too boring or it was too that." So what he's done is he takes these like crazy fucking elaborate long stories and he's telling them in a fun manner and he shrinks them down to like 20 minutes.
Nice.
Or like 15 minutes. Like they're very short. And so it's like
Just like everything world history?
it
Or is
could
it
be
American history or
I don't know what the fuck. I think there's like some Greek shit in there. There's all kinds of shit. Like it's called Repeating History. He put a 2-minute like intro video up, or not video, a 2-minute intro on, Podbean, Spotify, all that shit. And I think his first one comes out. I could be fucking this up, but I think it comes out like August 1st. And he's got like 7 or 8, and he's already done with them. He just wants to release them really quick, like rapid fire, like a season. And so I think I'm actually going to give that a shot because that's the thing that stops me from learning all this history shit is it's just too fucking long, drawn out, and boring for me. And since he's condensing it down to a quick thing, I'm totally into that.
Yeah. Is it traditional like textbook history, or does he like explore shit like we were talking earlier, like the stoned ape theory and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll go. I'm sure, but
have you heard of the stoned ape theory?
No.
Is Terrence McKenna? Do you know who that is? He's like so he theorizes that man's turning point to where creativity and basically everything cognizant that we experience was done at a point in time where like cavemen or whatever you want to call them were digging through shit and ate psilocybin mushrooms. And it was a branch in the brain that made us that divine
Like
branch.
that's
that
what
moment.
That was our DNA
Light switch.
malfunction.
It was our synapse light switch
that took on.
That
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool theory. I mean, there's obviously more to it. That's an ad lib version of it, you know.
I have heard. I've never done mushrooms. I've heard that it is an enlightening experience.
Yeah, they say that it alleviates your fear of death.
And I kind of want to.
I kind of do too.
Just
but
once, like, I had talked with my best friend Chris about taking a camping trip, and just the two of us, like just being out in the woods and in a safe space with the two of us, with no kids, and eat some mushrooms and
that's just, I mean,
see what it
from all of the friends that tell me about the various.
Yeah, see, you have a lot more experience with drug friends.
But it's, damn man, that was harsh.
No, it's true though.
It totally is.
You've never done drugs,
Sierra's
though,
the
right?
same way.
I don't fuck with the drugs, man.
Yeah.
I just say no. I won the dare speech.
Sierra's the same way. Like, I'm married to somebody who's the same way. She's got a lot more experience with drug friends.
My wife has never smoked a cigarette.
I've never smoked a cigarette. I've smoked half a cigarette. I had smoking parents, smoking step parents. I like.
Fuck. Have you smoked a cigarette?
No.
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 You're the only other person I've met who's in the same spot as me on this one.
Kyle's never smoked either.
That's awesome.
Oh, but hold up. I smoked like half a Black and Mild one time.
That's not a cigarette.
It's not. Cigarettes, I fucking hate the way they smell.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to be around them.
What the fuck?
Do we have a guest?
Open the door.
Someone's like, hey, they broke in that white truck out there.
Well, the door was open, and now it's shut.
Oh, so maybe
I bet the air sucked it shut.
That's true. It's probably that. So we had a
That
ghost.
sounded like a knock.
It did sound like a knock. Yeah.
Is someone at the door?
Nope.
Nope.
They're looking for the shitter.
Yeah, pretty much.
You see, Loud Colin is starting to
Loud
starting
Colin.
to check in here. This is my fourth class.
What the fuck was I saying?
We were on trivial things, and
Well, I don't have a trivial thing.
You don't?
I don't. I mean, I have lots of things that bother me, but I can't think of one, and I can't formalize it right now. I don't know what the fuck it is. So instead, I'll just tell a story.
I got a trivial thing, but go ahead.
Man, we were. I told you we went to Harvest this weekend, right?
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out where we were going to go eat. And you guys know how that is. You both have wives. Trying to figure out where the fuck you're going to go eat is cumbersome. So we're figuring out this shit because she's vegetarian, I'm not. We had pizza the night before, so we didn't really want pizza. She's reading off the shit on Harvest. She's like, hey, they have burgers. I'm like, whoa, fuck, I didn't even realize Harvest had burgers. So she's reading it, and she's like, yeah, they use meat that's antibiotic-free, hormone-free, grass-fed, free range, blah, blah, blah. And she's going through the list, and at the end she goes, God, vegans. I said, it's still fucking meat. It's still meat. What do you mean vegans?
She meant liberals.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But she called them vegans. I'm like, you're
These fucking liberals.
You are cheese and sour cream away from being a vegan.
See, when someone says fucking liberals, there's so many layers of that shit.
No, I know. I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean,
But
you have your
means-
socialist liberal, which I can't fucking stand, like a Bernie Sanders type of liberal. Fuck that. Did you guys watch any of the Democratic debate? Are you a Bernie Sanders supporter?
I'm not this time around.
Okay.
I was
You
last
were?
time around.
Is it because of all the free shit he was going to give you?
No.
The welfare mentality?
Dude. I'll go into it if you want to go.
No, I don't want to at all. I don't want to do politics.
I don't. America will never be a socialist country, and it should not be a socialist country.
Right.
I want to make that clear.
It kind of is, though, with welfare. It is a little bit socialist.
But welfare is designed to help the people that actually need the help. It's just abused by
I
bad
grew up
people.
on welfare,
Same
and
here.
I don't.
And some of it's kind of communist too, because they take all your money in taxes. I mean,
Okay.
we
Taxes
we just,
in general.
yeah, exactly.
In
That's-
general, America's a business.
Okay. I'll say this: you and I have a fundamental disagreement on belief at that, and I respect your
Okay.
I
Sure,
respect
yeah.
your opinion on it. I am
Nah, dude, troll them.
I because I believe in free market capitalism.
Sure,
I am a
yeah.
capitalist. I believe in the free
I think we're
market.
probably on the same page a little bit.
But I am in support of like single payer health insurance and stuff like that. Like I do
yeah.
believe in good.
I think education should be free.
Good.
Fuck yeah.
I do believe in good social programs, but it would require a lot of rethinking of our bureaucracy.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But no, America will never be a socialist country, and I think that the Democrats need to stop trying.
Yeah.
If this time around,
So yeah, we're on the exact same page.
this time around, I'm all in Mayor Pete. That's my guy.
Are you to the point to where like so one of the candidates is proposing giving like $20,000 to everybody in America?
Now, that's Andrew Yang,
Yeah.
and his whole thing is guaranteed income. Every American gets $1,000 a month,
That's what it is.
and I get it. It makes sense to me, and other countries that have done guaranteed income, it has worked. But we're not Denmark. We're not like a little ass country.
We're 120
We're a
million
big
people or
country,
whatever the
and you
fuck it
know
is.
this is where I get down with the libertarians and with the constitutionalists about it being, we are the United States. It's at the state level. That's where it's more important.
Sure, and I
get down with that.
That's mainly where I fall is the libertarian.
Same here.
I've often found, especially because I love guns and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I question authority a lot. I often find myself, if you were to describe me, you would say, yeah, he's just a leftist liberal.
Sure.
Like he's a liberal guy across the board. But I find myself falling in. I grew up around only conservatives in Michigan, so I find myself being more of a libertarian, as they call it.
Sure.
So
I may maybe off base here, but on some point, I think that states should govern themselves completely and leave big government out.
I could be
But
down.
then
I'm down with that.
Then I watch documentaries like the Fire Festival, and I see what happens when people in power don't control the masses,
Yeah.
and it turns into a fucking shit show. And then it makes me rethink, like, well, maybe there should be government to keep us.
Yeah,
in check.
the problem is that
that's the
on a
thing.
state level, things are so different in the various states. You can't take one and say I'm going to do this for everybody. It
the
doesn't
fact
work
is,
like that.
the fact is, right now we are at a breaking point where we are stretching. We are going really political here for a sec,
It's okay.
but
It's not that political yet.
we are at a point where we are stretching. We are really testing the founders' vision. We are testing the reason why they wrote the Constitution. We are testing that right now. We are pushing as hard as a culture. We are pushing as hard as we can against what they did, and we have one party that is overstepping bounds in one way, and we have another party that's overstepping bounds in another way. And honestly, this last 2 years, I am identifying as an independent because I can't even deal with the Democratic
And I'll
Party
tell you
anymore.
what. So in the
'Cause fuck
beginning, I liked the idea of Trump, that he kind of tested the system and said whatever the fuck he wanted to say. But there was two things that really pushed me over with him when I was completely out of even thinking about it. Was the one where he banned the bump stocks. He just said executive order done. And I don't like that at all. That's complete infringement on the Second Amendment. Just because one person feels like somebody shouldn't have something does not.
I agree.
Yeah.
The idea that one person is in
There's
charge of
checks and
100
balances.
Yeah. Well, the idea that one person is in charge of 120 some million people anyway is fucking ludicrous. He's just a puppet. I mean, honestly. So, and the other thing was him.
I'm not a puppet. You're a puppet.
Would you rather have me who thinks for themselves or a sleazy
Who the
Democrat?
fuck do you think's pulling the strings behind all that? It's big corporate business. It's
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So anyway, and the second thing was when he was toying with Iran recently. I think it's fucking stupid. It's a Republican move that's fear mongering, and it's just it's warmongering more than anything.
And
I'm
here's-
going to create jobs, and how I'm going to create jobs is by fucking killing people
here's
and
the-
creating weapons. I don't like
Exactly.
it. I sound like a fucking shithead, but
No, I agree with you. And here's the thing: is Trump came in with his whole campaign promise of draining the swamp.
yeah.
And I will say that he made it swampier, but he is kind of draining the swamp in the fact that he is being the swamp, and because of that, we are seeing everything being exposed now with this Jeff Epstein stuff that's happening right now. You got liberals going like shaking in their boots, like they're going to take down Bill Clinton, they're going to take down our guy, and it's like good. put him
Yeah,
the fuck
put all of them
away.
But that's the
You know,
fucked up thing
and-
is every single politician has the skeletons.
That is what Trump has done, is laid bare. He says the quiet part out loud, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, now everybody is looking at everybody's history.
Sure.
Everybody is looking at everybody's wrongdoing.
Which is why they're looking into him for Russian collusion.
And we're seeing these fuckers go down one by one. And I can't be happier about that.
I'm into it. Go down like episode 15. Watch me wrap us the fuck up.
Wow. Go down like episode 15.
Wrapping us up right here. We will be back next week. I don't even know what date is. What is the date today?
Today is the 14th because my birthday is in 4 days.
No. Guys, if you want to send some nice lingerie, I can get you a P.O. box.
$.
Can I promote why
on Cash App
thing? Remember we had talked about.
Oh man, you interrupted my call for birthday donations to $Colin Simula on Cash App.
You have a Cash App?
Fuck yeah, I've got a Cash App.
Is it in your profile?
I have Cash App too.
No.
Do you just put it in your You do?
csimula@gmail.com for PayPal. Colin Simula on Venmo, whatever the Venmo thing is. Venmo's stupid and weird. And $Colin Simula on Cash App if anybody wants to give me money for LPs. I like records. I want to buy vinyls.
Do I have to get close when I promote my shit?
No, we're just gonna open the floor to you and have you promote
real
it.
quick. If there's anybody out there that's interested in web development design, I have a good side venture. We're in the ag industry. It's pretty scarce as far as things go.
Dude, you should have
online.
brought that up earlier in the podcast because your boy's a designer right here. Anyway.
Awesome. We're looking for something with minimal overhead off the bat, but we're doing profit sharing and potential ownership for people that want to develop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to come up with something cool and sexy that doesn't exist in the industry now, and we're trying to make it one-click purchase. There's going to be a couple sides to it. There's going to be login per discount, and then there's going to be the one-click type of shit. So it's layered. It's going to be difficult, but not too difficult, I don't think.
Hell yeah, man.
You know I know some web developers, and I know you do too.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna be.
So we have.
messaging you.
So I do want to say we have the networking done. We have the users done. There's a bunch of big businesses.
People are ready to go.
People are ready to fucking go.
Fuck
and
yeah.
I need. This is my part. So we hired a guy in last year that was the VP of sales for a company up in Canada. He has done every bit of networking. This is my responsibility, and I don't know shit about making web pages. But
Hey man,
I'm technically the CTO of this little side venture, so I got to make it happen somehow.
very nice.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna clip that clip. I'm gonna cut that clip
Can I-
out.
It's a $1 billion industry. I just want to say that. So
Don't do the Shark Tank thing. If we could just acquire,
I know it sounds
1%.
pitchy as fuck, but no, it's a big industry and
No, it
basically has not been tapped the way that we want to do.
Before we end, can I plug something too?
Plug the fuck away. Plug it up. Plug it up.
Another show. My band Maranatha playing August 2nd. It's a Friday. And we're playing at Big Room Bar here in Columbus, Ohio. And we're opening for Zayo and Wolf King, which I listened to for the first time today, and they're pretty fucking sweet. And Hollow Earth, and it's going to be a good show.
And I heard you get free entry to that with a ticket purchase. Yeah.
Yes, and
All right.
surprisingly, yeah.
Episode 15 in the books.
In the
Thank you,
books.
Bullback.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Peace
Yeah.
out, dude. This was awesome.